What's up, stranger?
Good morning. Oh. Mike Tyson. Hopefully he lights up Jake Paul, huh? Hopefully. The whole world is worried that Jake Paul knocks him out. What do you think?
I think Mike's going to be like back in the old days where he just comes out and knocks Jake out in fucking like 5 seconds.
Right on. That's a great thought. That's a great thought.
Yeah, I think Mike's going to come out. He's going to fucking duck left, duck right, fucking uppercut. And Jake Paul's going to be fucking singing and pretty for the, the money that he just made in 15.
Like, pay me, bitch. Yeah. I'm hoping. He looks good in his training. Looks real solid. Super. I mean, just a hair slower, I would say. Probably. Not that I have like some way to measure that or anything, but probably just, we figure with age, but maybe not, man. Maybe not. Maybe he's got even old man strength. He might be hitting just a little bit harder. Me and you know about that, right?
Yeah, the only issue might be that, he has gotten hit in the head a lot, and with his age, he might not
Yeah.
he might not be able to take a punch like he used to.
Yeah, that could be. I wonder myself how, because I had a pretty durable jaw back in the day. I was able to sustain quite a bit of damage, but I don't feel like definitely don't feel, shit, just joint pain alone. You got to do something nutritional, extra that I didn't have to do as a young, strapping, younger self.
Yeah, I definitely need to get cracking on everything because I love being on my motorcycle and I need to be more flexible for when I'm on there. Because I can't fucking I need to be able to look behind me, and right now I can't. I fucking kind of can't. I can't twist. I'm so fucking stiff.
Oh, interesting. What's going on? Good morning.
Where is everybody at? Like you said. Oh, there they are.
You're staring at us.
Some of us.
Morning, fellas. Good morning, AK. Only the hardcorest of us made it today.
Well, it ain't that fucking hard, man. All you got to do is just fucking do it.
I like that.
That's it,
Call
man.
us-
Just fucking
call it-
do it.
call
It's
us-
done.
Call us the faithful four.
Yeah, I've had my
Nothing.
days though.
Nothing to it but to do it.
Yeah. Fuck, I finally feel like I got some rest.
Go
Go to bed early?
I don't know, not really. I just I went to fucking court with my girl yesterday. I thought for sure she was gonna get out of jail, but that didn't happen. So I just had a long day off. Slept
Why
in-
didn't it?
They take her from jail to the court?
Yeah.
Fuck, only to tell her she's got to stay.
They didn't even say that, man. They didn't. She fucking stepped up in front of the judge, and the only thing the lawyer says was continuance till the 13th.
Oh, fuck.
And then-
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
What was supposed to go down? An arraignment or a bail hearing or what?
At least bail, man. At least a bail. She's been in there 5 weeks, and it's over fucking stupid shit. She just got drunk and went to the flea market, and I don't know. She got mad at one of the people and walked out with something in her hand, and they fucking charged her for theft.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, you know, it is what it is. We all do stupid shit.
Fucking A.
And it's not like this.
We're here.
It's not like this is fucking new shit, man. You know, she's been doing good. But, you know, the courts take their time to fucking issue warrants and come get you. What's up, Aaron?
Yo,
A
bro.
single A.
Mike- my microphone's off. There you are.
How you guys doing?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
All right. Yeah, the fucking judge was pretty harsh on both of us, saying, I just saw you two in here 5 months ago. What the hell are you doing back? You can't make it work? And I was like, she can't make it work, bitch. She said that we both lack insight. It's like, you don't even know fucking 7/8 of the story. Who the fuck lacks insight, cunt? Fuck you.
Yeah, dude, that sucks, man. I'm sorry. What a
Hey,
bitch.
man, I'm already past it, Brandon. I am. I've been talking to my nephew last night, so I'm way past it.
That's what's up, dude. Another day, another hurdle.
Yeah. So,
Bring it the fuck on. Bring it.
yo, is that dude coming in, Brandon?
I think so.
I hope
Yeah,
so.
man. I just watched that video. Yeah, that's awesome.
Which
Is this the
video?
real Walter White?
Yeah, Meth Empire guy.
Oh, yeah.
Showed him taking a hit off that pipe, man. It made my stomach turn. And then he went into Jesus and it went away. That was awesome.
I gotta check it out. I didn't.
Dude, I talked to him for 2 hours yesterday and was kind of getting more of the story because I wasn't it's super able to I hadn't talked to him forever, you know, life gets so fast for everybody. But yeah, the whole Breaking Bad thing was stolen from him. And I know because the the industry executives always want to like exploit people. They don't just want to like use your story and not pay you. They want to, they always like sort of step on the person that they use, you know? And his last name is Saul. So that show Better Call Saul, like
Yeah,
there's no
Saul was,
one in Albuquerque with that last name.
yeah, Saul was the guy that played the lawyer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The
Yeah, but
scumbag lawyer.
Yeah, the bad lawyer. Yeah.
Shady.
which we actually that lawyer was a real character too, but his name was Ron Bell, and but he was in Albuquerque. It just like it was exactly the lawyer Saul, like the accident, fuck over, signs everywhere. This guy named Ron Bell. It's crazy, dude, because I was partners with this strip club owner for 4 years. That guy's in jail now for running a a prostitution ring, some type of shit. But at the time he would throw like these crazy Epstein type not or whatever these Diddy type parties, thanks. Diddy type parties. And Ron Bell, the fucked up lawyer, would go to them. And because he had a strip club, and he had the strip club was called the Ice House, and he had a escort service called the Private Ice. And to get into Private Ice, you had to fuck Bobby, who was my partner. Like the girl had to go fuck him, and then once you fuck him, you're ranked into his escort service, and then and he had like limos and all this type of shit for that. But he would throw these orgy parties, like in some other place or at the hotel, some hotel banquet place or some shit. And I heard about him. I never went to none of them. But
Well,
this
you would have had to
Ron
fuck him.
this Ron Bell guy, all the girls would tell me that the Ron Bell dude was a fucking freak show at these things. He was just running around trying to stick his dick in everybody or whatever, you know, just freaking Diddy freak off and whatever.
Yo, I just watched a video on YouTube yesterday about what Diddy was his date rape drug, his Tusi. You ever hear of it?
Yeah,
Tusi
Tussies everywhere.
What?
Yeah, in Colombia, all the girls are strung on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
they
is that fucking memory loss fucking drug?
No, that's dragon's breath. But that's scopolamine. Tussi's a pink powder.
Yeah.
They made it in Colombia. People didn't even know what it was in it for a long time. But I know that I know exactly what they make it, how they make it.
What's it made out of?
It's made out of ketamine. It's made out of the pre-workout, psychotic fucking pre-workout, weightlifting pre-workout.
Oh.
I have the pre-workout here. Hold on, I'll show you.
But how does a pre-workout make it? Oh shit! Brandon's making Tusi.
I don't know.
No,
Maybe
you're kidding.
maybe
That
he
is
had
a psychotic workout.
energy to it. I did some K back in my Raven days, man. That shit's powerful as fuck.
Yeah,
I used to do that a lot too. Yeah,
dude, these girls are so like I seen in Medellin. I was at a party and there was a lot of fucking girls, and there's a lot of strippers and hookers and shit in Medellin because of poverty. You know what I mean? It's really, but they're fucking. There's a lot of them and they're hot. The culture is real big, and anyway, I seen this dude break out a fucking big old bag of Tusi at a party one time, and girls just lined up, and he was just like,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't know, but it's I snorted one thing of it one time, and this like a long time ago, and yeah, it'll take you right into another dimension, man. It's
Like a
like
fucking K-hole, like a ketamine.
Okay,
hole.
yeah.
I felt like I went into a Tron kind of do you remember that movie Tron or that video game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
what
dude. Like I feel like
man.
I jumped out of reality and started running around in some sort of Tron type warehouse or
Oh, you
something.
checked out for a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, I mean, yeah. And I think if I can remember correctly, I was wondering there for a second. I was like, fuck, am I gonna come back? Am I gonna be able to come back? I seen a bunch of girls that did it on a regular basis, and I mean, they were just like
Out of their minds.
I mean, yeah, pretty pretty happy to just
Be a
go
bump.
on.
Fuck that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And I got scared I was gonna be stuck in a K hole the first time I went into one.
Oh yeah. I remember the first time I did it. I was at a rave in Boston, and man, I just remember being so comfortable and not giving a fuck if I ever came out of it.
Oh, you did the 2C.
Huh?
You did the 2C.
I did ketamine.
Oh,
Just straight
Yeah.
special K. Yeah, just straight K.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the main ingredient is ketamine. And then they mix a bunch of other shit in there. I think it has some cocaine in it. I think some of it even gets some fentanyl in it now.
Yeah, that could make it very, very dangerous.
Man, I was talking to Kenny. Hopefully he jumps in soon. Yesterday,
Hit him
he
up.
said,
Hit him up. Say, are you gonna jump in?
yeah, he said he was going to jump in.
All right.
Easier said than done, right?
Right.
It's an hour earlier for him too. But
Yeah, the female from Mighty Network, she said she was gonna jump in again, man. She said she jumped in the other day and no one was there.
where is she?
What?
Where is she?
Where'd she say she's out of? I forget where she's from, but she said she jumped in at 6 o'clock. I said, yeah, sometimes it in between 6 and 6:30, that's when people are showing up. And I told her, like yesterday, I believe there was 7 or 8 people, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good mastermind. That's a
Yeah.
yeah, man. It's grown. It's went through so many expansions and contractions now that it's just the universe taking place, I guess. I don't know.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna try to do, I think my first big media operation, or my first big. I already got a few clips out of some of these interviews about this time period. Dude, the Breaking Bad fan base on the internet is fucking immense, dude. Like some of these little clipper clips I already got 1,000 views.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know, I got 10,000 views.
And in our textbooks per se.
I got 10. I'll show you what I got 10,000 views on.
Okay. Yo, good morning, John.
Chang Chang.
I got this because I was making a card trick out of it. And I put this sticker on it and kind of made it flashy. But it says the chances of shuffling cards into numerical order, you know, ace through king, ace through king, ace through king,
Right.
are 1 in 536 octillion, 447 septillion, 737 sextillion, 765 quintillion, 488 quadrillion, 792 trillion, 839 billion, 237,440,000. And a kid texts
So
me
you're
back. He
saying
goes,
there's a chance?
huh?
I said, so you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah. Oh, you want a piece of the action, Franco? You like those odds? Yeah, there's a chance. And then I put the chances of getting a blackjack are 1 in 50. Chances of getting a royal flush in poker, which is all of one suit, is 1 in 649,580. And the chances of getting the best bridge hand possible, which is all of one suit, is 1 in 5 million. And so I made a trick where I make the deck go from chaos to in numerical order. I want to put it up on YouTube sometime. I call it the biggest deal. It's kind of off of another magician's trick, but that's what magicians do. They take a trick that they like and they make it their own. They make it better, you know? Oh.
That's interesting. So how? So those are. I guess that's known mathematics, huh?
Yeah, but
Where did
someone,
that get
got
10,000
back to
views?
me and he said, "What are the chances that that number ends in 3 zeros?" I said, "Very unlikely." No.
So what do you think of or what platform did the 10,000 views coming on?
Oh, Instagram. It's and it
Really?
got 10,000 views in like no time. I was like, "Whoa, all right." Another one of my videos got over 10,000 views, but I forget which one it is. I guess if I could put it up again, I should actually start putting up mixing juggling and magic with personal development or universal laws. That's one of my ideas.
Hey, Aaron, is that nephew you were talking with? Is that the one that calls you Uncle Juggles?
Uncle Juggler. He's called me Uncle Juggler since he was a baby. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
Uncle
the one,
Juggler. Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Are you guys? Is anyone still I don't know if you can check real quick. Is anyone still connected to Patrick? It looks like he.
I
No,
sent him a
no.
voice message Saturday night,
Yeah, I was thinking about him yesterday.
and then he called me, but I was at church on Sunday. And then I said,
he's all about this chick, and I think he's just doing that route. I don't know.
He said he was
It's
doing
it's
him
kind of
and
shitty to just bounce out and not tell anyone anything.
That's
just
kind of
think
what I felt like, and then
it's
it
kinda
seems like
like-
it seems like he unfriended me on Instagram. I didn't know, or maybe he's just
Is he still doing the Victor thing?
no. I think the Victor thing's no one's doing the Victor thing that I know of. I don't know,
Yeah, I
Really?
haven't heard from.
huh?
I
well,
don't know.
hopefully Victor's doing it. He got
Yeah, I
he
mean,
got that tattoo.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
He got
I
the
did.
tattoo of the
love
group.
is a fight. Okay. Yeah.
But you know, I don't know.
I think that's a nice phrase. Either
It
way.
is. It is a good. Yeah, right. Either which way. I mean, it's not like
Love is the fight right now, man. All these little hateful bastards everywhere, you know.
Yeah,
love
real
is a
genuine love.
Yeah.
it is a fight.
I didn't know shit.
Yeah, it's always a fight to be a lover because there's so many things to be a hateful fuck about.
Aaron.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It's like that
Patrick's
Billy Idol song, "Forgot to be a lover, have mercy."
Patrick's last conversation with us before he fucking dipped out, he was he looked kind of aggro and upset, talking about, he hates fake people. He hates it when people don't fucking do what they say and shit, and then he kind of dipped out on us, and he was gone from that point on. So it's like I'm wondering who or what he was talking about.
Yeah.
I know he
Dude,
didn't agree with
that's an interesting observation.
my relapse.
Huh?
I know he didn't agree with my relapse. I don't fucking agree with my relapse.
Hey,
But
man,
if you're gonna,
Yeah, you're right, but
like
it's not really,
me
it's not
for
really
it.
him to
I'm a
fucking.
work
It's
in
not really his
What?
position. It's not really his position to like, discipline you or scold you about it, right?
Man, you know
no,
what?
no, that's not what we're about,
I
man.
mean,
We're here
I
to
wouldn't mind
Exactly.
if you did kind of scold me, like you're better than
Well,
that.
yeah,
you know?
right.
But he's like, oh, you're the
But
devil.
part of this
It's like,
reason-
bro, I didn't stay up for 30 days on meth. Okay, I never saw the devil. Well, actually, I did once, but that's different.
I've seen that rat bastard.
Yeah, but when like, you already have to answer to yourself and shit. It's like, man, we want to create a space where everybody can feel like they can share and
Yeah,
fucking say,
and be
hey, I
honest.
fucked up over here. Guys, give me some accountability. I fucked up over here, right?
Yeah.
Right,
No.
right.
I'm doing awesome about not fucking being stoned. I know that. I'm doing real
That's
good with
awesome,
that stuff.
Stan.
Good boy.
That's what's up.
It
That's
ain't
good.
been
Yeah,
easy either.
He could have also been talking about me, because of some of the shit that I've said on there, and he probably thinks that I'm full of shit or something.
Yeah.
Nah.
I only,
Man.
Well,
Fuck.
yeah, I think he wanted everybody in here to be like on an upper level workout program, and some people can't, right? I mean, fuck. Or we all have different things. We're all busy, and we all try to keep
Well,
ourselves healthy
I
and
haven't.
shit. But
I've told you guys where I sit. I haven't lied about anything. I didn't fucking. I haven't given you guys any excuses. I've told you that I've fucked up. I've been fucking up. This is where I stand. I'm injured. I'm afraid. I'm depressed. I'm back to being an alcoholic. I haven't fucking lied about anything I've said.
Are
No,
you still
and I-
What's
drinking,
up, dude?
Franco?
And I only, I've cut back again. So I'm not really getting drunk anymore, but I still fucking have drinks on,
Yeah.
on a Friday or Saturday.
Hell,
But,
man.
that's still being an alcoholic as far as I'm concerned.
One
Yeah.
step at a time, though, man.
Yeah.
You know? I
Well,
mean,
I'm not getting
I-
fucking shit faced and
right,
causing
dude.
trouble and bullshit.
I've been completely
We're
fucking.
not fucking our next days up or the following day. And
I know,
Yeah,
but
if
fucking
I had
stressful
one
days I
drink, it
fucking
would
smoke.
fuck the next day up. I don't know why. It would.
I
And
think
believe
if
me, I used to drink like a fucking fish. But
Yeah.
Because I like I said, I've talked to Patrick a little bit here and there, and it sounds like he kind of misses the group. And I'm like, dude, you can come back whenever, right? I mean, so whatever, right? Just be a humble person.
Yeah,
There's a vibe. There's a certain vibe in here, right? So it's
I had an interesting. I think Kenny's coming in right now. He was another hour off. I fucked that up. But anyway, I had a conversation with this cat Kenny about this yesterday, who's a pastor now. And like I said, I'm absolutely sure the Breaking Bad show is based off of this dude. And he was the one who was making the colored meth. He was the biggest meth cook in New Mexico for a long time, in Albuquerque. And anyway, this he's
but he
now
wasn't a
become
chemistry teacher, right?
Huh?
He wasn't a chemistry teacher.
No, fuck no. There's no chemistry. No.
Well, that's what in the show. That's what he was.
Right. Yeah, no, but we all know it's him. Like I've talked to several other people, and they're like, dude, that's definitely about him.
Yeah, but
Very
they probably glamorized. They took it and made it Hollywood with his story.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Hollywood.
Yo,
Pedalwood.
he is.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah.
What up, man?
Yo, Kenny, the crew,
Welcome.
Kenny. Me and this
Kenny.
cat knocked it
I
out
watched your
of the
video
park
last
for a
night.
few years
You're
back when
muted,
I was
buddy.
like, huh?
Just trying to let him know he's muted if he's trying to say anything.
Oh.
All
There
right.
you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
All right.
Welcome,
Sweet.
buddy.
How y'all doing?
Great, man.
Great.
Freaking O Dark 30 over here. So
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to the Old Dark 30 Club, man.
all
There's
right.
nobody like us.
That's right. So, how are we gonna start this off? Why don't you tell us your story, bro?
All right. So
Yeah.
I don't know how much Brandon shared with you, but
Well, I watched. He
Yeah, he
sent
posted a little
video, and I watched that. So
The
Yeah.
religious
Yeah, it
news
was only like
piece.
5 minutes long.
yeah.
it's very short.
So I mean, where do we start? Where we start in 2000? I was let's see. I was discharged out of the United States Army in 2000, basically because I couldn't deal with my emotions, and I just decided to go all crazy, and I went into the drug world in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we were doing the party stuff. I was a DJ for raves. Me and Brandon both started a production company and started just throwing parties. Now Brandon was more business minded than I was at the time, and me, I was just just living the life, doing things, having fun, but it was chemical based fun, and it led into just deeper and deeper levels, and then I met Crystal Meth,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
and
I know that
we
bitch.
yeah, and
I met that bitch too. Yeah,
and we ran for 6 years, and I went from just doing it on the weekends to party to doing it every day to selling it to manufacturing it, and then at 2005 I found myself sitting in a cement box facing a 9-year prison sentence, and some dude that I knew from the streets, when I was in jail, he looks into my jail cell and he says, "Jesus loves you." And I was an atheist, didn't believe in God or none of that. And but once he said that, something kind of changed in my head, and I went from being an atheist, and then I started to think. I had some agnostic kind of thoughts, and then crazy things happened, and I made the decision to do one more crazy things. I had been doing all kinds of crazy things. I decided that I was going to believe that God exists, and that was a choice that I made. Like, for me, faith is a choice, and so I made the choice to believe in God. And once I made that choice, all sorts of other things started to happen in my life, and now it's 17 or 18 years later, and I'm pretty convinced, bro. God does exist. So,
Without a
and
doubt,
Me
man.
too.
yeah, and
Without a
so
doubt.
but yeah, now I'm a full on preacher. I'm a volunteer chaplain,
Oh yeah, man. Good for you.
and I do things every day just to live in a way that blesses other people. I want to inspire hope. I want to be a leader in my community. I
nice.
got I have 6 kids and 5 grandkids. I
Holy
got three
shit!
Wow, be nice Christmas.
I got three. Well, I have three adult kids that don't live with me. I got a 30-year-old son, a 30-year-old daughter, and a 28-year-old son. And my 30-year-old son lives in California. He's got two sons. My 30-year-old daughter lives in Mexico, and she's got three kids. And then my 28-year-old son lives in Albuquerque. He's making a bunch of bad decisions like I did.
Oh,
He's
gee.
actually, yeah, he's actually in jail right now, the same jail that I heard Jesus loves you in. So, but yeah, and then I have three daughters with my wife, and they're all teenagers. So three teenage daughters, fun.
Wow.
Woo.
Wow, man.
Yeah,
There you go.
but
Well,
we
the
do the
best
things, bro.
decision you made was to be sober, huh?
Well, the best decision I made was to stop thinking I was God and started letting God be God. And and then then when I decided to say, okay, to believe, that's when, because for me, sobriety is actually a fruit of my salvation, not the root. Like
Right.
so my
Right.
That's
I
a good. That's
received
a good way of putting it.
The fruit and not the root.
yeah, I got a lot of those, so yeah. But little isms,
Yeah. I like those little isms, man, because they say a lot in very few words.
Yeah, it helps you check the facts a little bit more, kind of.
Yeah. So okay, let's do a check-in. Who all's here? We got Aaron, Stanton. Who's on the iPhone?
Oh, that's me.
Another Aaron.
Yeah.
That's the single Aaron.
We have AR
Aaron,
and
I'm spelled with one A.
Yeah,
we
we
have
could all go
AR
around.
and AK. Choose your weapon.
All right,
Yeah.
let's go.
They both kick pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can introduce myself. I'm Aaron Kalinsky up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. We all met through an app. I don't know if Brandon told you that there's a guy named Wes Watson, and we all kind of interconnected through on his fitness app, his fitness community. And yeah, we all just kind of formed this morning group over, a year and a half here, and it's kind of had, like we said, many evolutions, and some guys have, parted ways, and, other guys have joined in and came back, joined in and stuff. And yeah, so we're all here, just meeting every morning. I guess more about me. I'm up in Wisconsin, and I never really had too many, serious bouts with any substance abuse. It was more of, I just knew there was, something more out of life, and I always just kind of was into the personal development thing a little bit. And so
Nice.
I wanted to reach out and find a community, and kind of, this is where it's at, and having these morning guys just regroup ourselves and talk about the heart, the stuff that you don't talk about, with your normal people, the real deal, the vulnerability and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit on me. I just had some anger and maybe a little bit of emotional stuff that I had to reframe and define for myself, and I have. And yeah, I'm just grateful to be here, and grateful to have you here, Ken, and thanks for sharing your story. And yeah, I'll pass the mic.
Hey,
You got kids, Aaron?
No, I don't. I'm a single guy. I was engaged once, and I broke it off a month before the wedding, which was freaking, I had to, because yeah, the girl I was with was more, I won't, judge or anything, but she had more emotional problems than I had. So two people with kind of like emotional issues together is a fucking firestorm, right? It's just gonna blow up. So yeah, I made the tough decision of parting ways, and yeah, I'm still, searching, or not searching, but trying to put a good person out there who I can draw in, somebody who's worthwhile and sustainable, and hopefully God blesses me with children one day. but if not, that's his plan and everything, right? I just stay and make right choices and support others in this world, and see what happens, right?
Mhm. Amen. Awesome. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, buddy. It's awesome to have you here. It's not easy to wake up in the morning like this, but it's definitely worth it for us because we keep coming back. So
Yeah.
I'm Stanton Ball. I'm from Central Missouri. Actually, I'm from Wyoming, but I've been in Central Missouri since I was 15. I'm pushing 43. My past is much like yours. I was 14 the first time I tried meth, and it was on. And I did meth all the way till I was 26, and then I had a 12-year sobriety. I did some jail time, not for meth, but for other reasons. And I've always known God and Jesus. I mean, it's always been a big part of my life with my family. But I actually picked up the Bible for the first time when I sat in jail, and I read the Bible cover to cover twice while I was in there. And I did a 12-year stint of sobriety. I had some kids and got married, and then I had a relapse, and it lasted about 7 years. And you know, I cooked a lot of meth, but it was never a business minded. It was more of a lifestyle. Feed the habit, feed the addiction. And I've been sober about 4 years now, and I found this group through my sister, who hooked me up with a group of guys that did burpees twice a day, and which led to this group through Danny. He's not here yet. He usually shows up right about now, but I don't know, man. It was mental disabilities, and I was really depressed, and this group has really pulled me out of it. Not really the group, but their support and my willingness to put forth the effort and do the work. And so, yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'll pass the mic now.
All right, I guess I'll go next. Yeah, my name's Aaron Roberts in Massachusetts, Princeton, Massachusetts, which is Apple Country. And Boston, Massachusetts, not that big, so Boston's literally a ride down the road. But yes, what brought me here was personal development as a whole. Wes Watson inspired me to make changes in my life. I'm always having to do a course correction because I'm an addict, and too much pleasure is not good for me. It's just not. It's not. Because then I just want more and more. My drug of choice is more. It doesn't matter what it is. It's more. And I know that about me now. So I've been fighting for my daughter, advocating for her. I just did court yesterday. It's a mess. They heard her contempt and not mine because it's just such a mess. I won't even get into that. That would take too much explaining. But personal development and reading the books of the greats and taking quotes and really the wisdom of the ages and really trying to digest them and live them and find the wisdom in them. And really, I think at the end of the day is, to have a spiritual awakening and aim towards the highest vibration there is, which is spiritual enlightenment. And that should be, I think that's all of our goals. I mean, who wouldn't want that? To even, to be in a state of perpetual bliss. This is, I've had moments of bliss. Wouldn't you like to just be there, just to exist there? I mean, I know it's probably even fleeting for those who are, who have achieved it. But But yeah, personal development, and it's such a wide range of things. It's really like the more self-control and temperance you have, the more you're leaning into self-mastery. And that's also another a goal to really not let anything rule you and be a slave, but to be the master of yourself, to have a high level of self-mastery. And just, I always think of this Marcus Aurelius quote: the quality of your life is dictated by the quality of your thoughts. You always have to make your thoughts intentional. And as soon as you go negative, say, that's not serving me, and start thinking, rational, positive, high vibrational thoughts. So, to say personal development, it's very vague because it's a whole realm of things that you could do to develop yourself on that personal level. That's what I got. Nice to meet you, Kevin. Thanks for sharing the story. Appreciate it. And who's up next? Who wants to go? Brandon, John, Franco?
I'll take it. Hey, man, good morning. I saw your story yesterday. Very cool. Welcome to our morning club. Eric Thaxton. I live in Atlanta, Georgia, originally from the Northeast, up in New Jersey, New York area. I'm here, man, because I like these guys. I think that's first and foremost, right? It's a crew of people that are continuing to evolve and know the importance of mindset and working to improve ourselves every single day. So it's not an easy find. As Aaron said a little bit earlier, we all met through Wes Watson and that platform. And I think we all kind of came back together. We came back through Dan, who's not here right now, but I'm sure he'll be popping on. He's West Coast time, so he's a little behind us, but he usually pops in about 4:35. And through that platform and through meeting some people, and for me personally, I've struggled with all of it, man. I dealt with alcoholism, from the time I was young, and the drugs came with it. I was never into the hard shit, man. That was never it, for me. But just having been exposed to that for most of my life, it fucks with you in different ways, right? So. With me, I think the big thing that I learned is that life is cyclical, right? And if you don't fix the root, then you're gonna run into these same problems. And as I've evolved and as I've lived my life, I've learned that because certain things are out of place, it makes my foundation weak. So, coming in here with a group of people that want to work on themselves and want to work on their mind, and I'll even go on a limb and say, live a more spiritual and purpose-driven life. It helps me personally evolve and grow. So I want to say thank you to the rest of these guys because they're the ones that are here every day. It allows me to check in and be accountable to myself. And thank you for showing up this morning, Ken. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Who's up next?
I guess I'll go. I'm John Chang. I live here in Bullhead City, Arizona / Northern Nevada. I have two places, one on one side of the river, one on the other side of the river. But yeah, this little corner up here, super nice on the Colorado River. I know about this area because my mom lives here. I went to high school here. So, and then I went to and after that I went to University of Arizona to become a material science engineer, but I was always a self-taught photographer. So I tried the engineering stint for a little bit. I just could not sit in office and do those things. So so it's funny, I took up truck driving, like Franco did. And then I was always like entrepreneurial minded. So then I started a trucking company. after I worked my way up to becoming like a regional safety manager for a really large tanker company, cryogenic tanker company. And then when the economy dropped off in the early 2000s, obviously I was a white collar job. I got let go. And so then I thought I would show them. So I started a trucking company to compete against them. and I did okay out here. You know, I moved back out here because I got a run where I could put 10 trucks on and haul liquid natural gas because in California, they run everything on natural gas. They run the buses and the trucks and everything, but you can't get a permit or anything to actually manufacture the vehicle grade natural gas in California. So they manufacture the vehicle grade natural gas in Arizona and they truck it all in. It's crazy. But they truck it all into California so that like Orange County can run all their buses, Waste Management can run all their garbage trucks on it. It's crazy how that works, but it was good for me. And then, you know, I got bored with that and I wanted to get back into photography and videography. So I sold that company to my partner and been doing photography for about 10 years now. So again, I got into this group where I wanted to start working on mindset. My only real vice is, you know, I drank alcohol when I was in college and I stopped drinking for like 15 years. And I started social drinking again when I moved back out here. And then I haven't drank any alcohol in like a year now, a little over a year now, just because I'm more science-based. So I did a lot of research and the alcohol, even socially drinking, like messes up your gut biome, does all kinds of things in metabolism, things like that. So I got out of that and I started getting into the mindset space. I already kind of had a mindset. I had a, you know, I was always an out of the box thinker. So I've never subscribed to like, I got to work for somebody. I got to do this. I got to do that. I mean, I knew that there were like people that didn't think that way and they did a lot different things. They got to realize, you know, more of their dreams in their life. So I started this mindset journey actually with Andy Frisella. I got into listening to Andy Frisella and his Real LA podcast. And then I did his program called 75 Hard. If you guys don't know what 75 Hard is, you can listen to episode 208 of Real AF. It's his mindset program that he gives away for free. Andy Frisella is basically a billionaire. He doesn't need the money. He spends $1 million a year on his podcast, doesn't do any advertising on it. And pretty much he's just tried to make the world a better place. So I got in this mindset, did a 75 hard program. I got through the 75 days on the first go around, which is really tough to do. And I'm like, wait, I can really do this. And so then I got into watching Wes Watson stuff. And that's how I met all these guys here. Is at one point, all of us paid into like the Wes Watson program at one point or another and tried his program out for a little bit. But we ended up on a different kind of like, I don't know if you call it a mindset call or some other call with this guy named Mike. And that's kind of how a lot of us met too, is through that call. And then we figured, well, we could just have our own call. And so that's what we've been doing. So I bring, you know, every one of us here in this group is super awesome because we bring something different to the table because we all have different walks of life. We're all in different parts of the world. We all do different things and stuff and everything else. And as far as my view on religion goes, I mean, I believe in higher power. I believe there's like a universal energy or force that binds us all together and everything else. And throughout the history of man, we have different interpretations of that. That's why we have all these different religions. All these different religions, you know, they interpret what they're experiencing in the world slightly differently, but they all have the same goal at the end of the day. And part of that goal, I believe, and that's an opinion I bring to the table, is that it's a part about controlling your population. So religion and governments kind of go hand in hand. You know, if you notice how all governmental control systems or entities are based on religion. So religion's like the belief system, the government's kind of the enforcer of that belief system. So the Bible that I have is kind of more of an academic Bible. I have a Thompson reference Bible because I like how the indexing system, and I like how whenever Jesus is talking, it's in red and stuff like that. So I like to study that. I like to study other belief systems. I see how there's certain commonalities, no matter whether you're dealing with an Indian tribe or you're dealing with Buddhism, there's certain commonalities, you know, and at the end of the day, those commonalities are to control us as humans. And so that's kind of what I bring to the table. Yeah, at the end of the day, we're all energy, and so it's how we harness that, and it's how we understand that there are certain forces that like hold us back mentally, hold us back in our lives. And that if we ignore those things and really follow our true dreams and goals and what our visions are in our mind, we can bring them to reality. And so that's what I like about this group too, is that we think anything's possible. You know, a lot of times some of the guys in here would be like, oh, I'm going through this, but we keep reminding yourselves that, you know, anything is possible. If we believe it, we can bring our visions to reality. And so that's one of the biggest things. You know, we don't have to succumb to vices. Vices are like controls. You know, it's part of the things. You know, why do you think alcohol is still legal? Alcohol is one of the worst things on the planet. You know, but it's been used to control populations since the beginning of time. Whether you're the Egyptians trying to get your worker to work harder, whether it's in the modern day where you know we have happy hour every day after work. Why? Because we're programmed to go to work for 8 hours, and after work we get rewarded. We get to go to happy hour and not have to think about it. We go drinking whatever, and then and then we have weekends off. And then we have entertainment for that. We have sports things that we watch, and there's alcohol surrounding that too. Whether you're watching NFL on Sunday, drinking beer with the guys, that's all ingrained into our culture for a reason. And so a lot of us understand it's hard to fight against that, and you're supporting each other, and we're all going through the same. It's funny how even like Aaron's going through this battle right now, and all of us go through those battles, and we're here to support each other on those battles as well. So. And it's awesome to see you here, Ken. I watched your video and your story. It's super amazing. You know, it's the power of the individual. I tell everyone, you know, if you keep continuing living in your past, or you can live in the present moment, and you can change your reality in front of you every day. And Ken's a prime example of that, where you know you don't have to keep reliving your past over and over again. You don't have to hit rewind and play again on your life. You know, you can change and mold and shape the reality right in front of you. So
Yeah, right.
Amen. Awesome. So Franco or Eric?
Franco's usually working right now. Brandon, you haven't
What's up?
Why
I
not?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much introduction you need from me after 2.5 hours yesterday.
And we had a good conversation yesterday. But
But yeah, I mean, I've always loved Kenny, man. Me and Kenny knocked it out of the park together, and he's always been a really good guy. And I only, you know, Kenny can tell you I only mess with really good guys, you know. And you know, I used to really, you know, if I saw bad character in someone, I really used to have a problem with that, like a big problem with that. Like, I think now, I will tell you this: I have thought a lot about what Kenny said to me yesterday, since he said it regarding judgment. And what he said to me is that Jesus coaches us, you know, that you will be judged according to the way that you judge other people, and that you shouldn't be judgmental. And I think I've left, you know, way before that conversation yesterday. I've started really feeling that hardcore, you know, to just accept people the way they are. And after I went through after I saw the child abuse and control freakism that I've seen over the last decade, I definitely have come up with the idea that if you try to control others, you're making a big mistake. And so I'm very much becoming the practice of, you know, Kenny can tell you, I used to be fucking running around screaming at just losing, you know, making shit happen, right? You know, and there's a lot of control muscles that you're building when you're doing business. So I guess I'll just say for my morning ante up, that being unattached to the outcome is difficult but correct and best for you, you know, and to just do the right thing every step of the way, have a great vision, but just sort of seeing what nominates itself into position is a much better way than muscling everything into position, you know, and it does take more time. It does take more time. So patience is a part of that. So I don't know. There's some kind of contribution from me this morning, and thanks, Kenny, for coming in, dude. It's been so good to have this reunification with you, man. And
Awesome,
I'll tell the crew, everybody from Albuquerque is pretty, at least from our era, is actually pretty solid. I mean, you don't get away with much in Albuquerque. You got to be pretty straight, right? And but Kenny's the next level, man. He, with everything that he's doing with God and coming back from what he came back from, and having really gone to hell and come back. And I just want Kenny, you to know that everyone in this group is like us, man. You know me, I still don't fuck with nobody who's not cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, these guys have all really been through something that's been really God guided.
Yeah.
I would
That's
say
awesome.
this group. Yeah. And
one
cool.
thing about Brandon is Brandon keeps it real, and that's one of the most important things I believe in life, is that one of the things we used to say in the streets is don't talk about it, be about it, right?
Ooh,
and did you know the Bible actually says that too? If you look
yeah.
up 1 John 3:18, 1 John 3:18 says, "Let us not love in word and in tongue, but in deed and in truth."
Ooh,
So so again, don't talk about it, be about it. So I'm all about doing the things, not just not just but I get into theory, I get into uh, the philosophical aspects of the things that I do, but I'm also into again taking what my mind meditates on and bringing that into reality. I mean, I every day I live now, I live in a what I would have never imagined I could live. I didn't, for me, being a person that loves my kids and raises a family and has a loving relationship with my wife and has an impact in the community and doing all those things. Like if you would have told me I was going to do those things back in 2004, I would have said you're insane. You're doing more drugs than me. But it's possible to be an effective soldier in life and to fight the battles that we all fight. And I want to encourage my brothers that you have the tools necessary to overcome, and the battle is between your ears more than it's anywhere. The battlefield that we fight is in the mind, and overcoming the mental struggles and overcoming for me, I was clinically depressed my whole life. The first time I tried committing suicide, I was 9 years old. I tried strangling myself when I was a little kid, and I dealt with that type of depression my whole life. And and since I had my spiritual conversion, I've been delivered. I've been set free from that type of mindset, and so I'm encouraged. I'm glad to be hanging out with you guys this morning. Eric, you ready?
Eric went already.
Yeah, I
Eric
believe
went.
Eric went.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm right here, man. I was actually looking at that scripture you quoted.
1 John, the one that's closer to Revelation at the end. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah. So
First time. You said
1 John
3:18, right?
3:18. Yeah. What does it say in
Yeah.
your translation?
What does it say? Let's see. Let me get to the page. 3:18. Here it is. It says, "Whoever believes in him is not condemned, but whoever does not believe stands condemned already, because he has not believed in the name of God's one and only Son."
Is that 1
Yeah, I
John?
don't know why I have a problem with
That's
that.
it. How about it?
Yeah. So again,
Is that what you quoted?
no. Let me make sure I got you there. 1 John 3, verse 18.
Oh, Says Eric left. He must have been bounced out
Yeah,
Oh,
he probably
we
just
lost-
dropped connection.
and dropped connection. Yeah.
it fell out. So I think he was quoting verse 1, maybe. Let's see. Whoever is
Yeah, when you Google it, the first quote that comes up is from Bible.com.
yeah.
And that's what he's quoting exactly, you know.
So
It's from the NIV, the new international version.
for verse whoever by this we know love. So for 1 John chapter 3 verse 18, that comes up on Bible.com.
Yeah.
It says, my little children, let us not love in word or in tongue, but in deed and in truth. Maybe screen share that. Let's see. Screen. Let's see. Share. Can you see my screen?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So 1 John 3:18.
Yeah.
Enter. Dear children, let us not love in words or in speech, but in actions and in truth. You see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the one. Maybe I don't know where
One.
which is the one that he was quoting. I would believe those who do not believe. So again, so faith is a crazy thing, and that's what I could definitely see how so the more religious aspects of Christianity, so for me, I'm not a Bible thumping fundamentalist. Can I get an amen? So, but I believe,
Amen.
I believe that there is great value to be found in making a decision on your faith, like whatever you choose to believe, go with it and do those things. But let me see. I wanted to share something with you guys. I told Brandon about it yesterday, and I don't know if he shared with you this book that I've been intending to go through, and it just hasn't happened yet. But it's called The Warrior Poet Way.
That
and
sounds
it's
great. Hey, could I just tell you a quote that your little Bible verse reminds me of? Words are who you want to be. Actions is who you are.
Wow.
It is. Amen.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's see. Click on that. So that book right there, can you see that?
Yeah.
So this guy, John Lovell, he's a former Army Ranger. He is a spiritual leader, and he put this book together. The book is called The Warrior Poet Way: A Guide to Living Free and Dying Well. And it's not necessarily a Christian book, but it's written by a Christian guy that's really passionate about living as the way that God called men to live, to stand up for what's right, to be protectors, and to be people who actually do things and make an impact in the world. So if you guys want to check it out, and then next week or something, if you guys look at the book, look at the what it's talking about, maybe we can go through a chapter or something together if it strikes your.
Is
that would be cool.
it a book that you read, or is it poetry?
No, it's a book that you read. It's a basic instruction manual for being a warrior, a warrior and a poet. So to be the type of person that has a warrior mentality and in dealing with the mental and spiritual and physical aspects of life. John Lovell is all about promoting all those things, and
Damn, that's right up your alley, AR. Warrior and a poet.
For sure. Yeah.
Rangers
I
lead
like
the way.
it.
Well, yeah.
Hi, this is
But
Brian Johnson. I'm the founder and CEO.
That was
go
the
ahead.
guy. Was that the guy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Somebody might have clicked on the video.
I clicked on something on accident. I was trying to close my email. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I get
Don't be clicking on the wrong thing.
it.
No, it was
So-
an email from Brian Johnson. He's another kind of like influencer guy. He wrote the book Arte, which is activating your heroic potential. He just sent me an email. I tried to click to close it and ended up playing the video instead.
Yeah. So for personal development, I mean, I used to be all into Tony Robbins. You guys know who Tony
Yeah.
Robbins is,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tony Robbins, Napoleon Hill, all the the founders of the modern personal development movement, and even some Deepak Chopra at one point. but I mean, again, when I got into my spiritual walk, I started to the things really made more sense to me now than they did when I first started studying those things like 20 years ago. I can see more of our breakdown on what it is to live. And let me stop share. Let's see, go back. That you are mind, body, and soul, right? So we are three parts in one. As a being, you have a mind. As a being, you have a body, and then as a being, you do have a soul, a spiritual component to you. And for me, that the healing of my soul is what led to the healing of my mind, and and then further healing to my body, and the ability to overcome a lot of these things that we struggle with. And spiritual change comes by making a choice on what you believe. So that's why a lot of those verses that talk about uh, those who believe have received the kingdom, and those who do not believe
Right.
are excluded from the kingdom. And so by faith you are going to fall, or we're going to rise. And so your belief system is going to be the structure of your life. You can't really avoid that. It doesn't matter what you choose to believe, but what you choose to believe is going to outcome on your surroundings and your ability to do the things that you do. Amen.
Hell yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, your belief system. When you said how you healed, it sounds like you kind of healed yourself in reverse, because most people have to heal the body first. That heals the mind, and then that leads to spiritual healing,
Right.
But you started with the spiritual aspect down to the mind, down to the body.
Well, when I first went, looked at personal development, like in the 90s, I was you remember the infomercials they used to have like late at night,
Yep.
the making money, and who was the making money guy was what was his Don Lapre? Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah, Dollar Tree, yeah.
Don Lapre ended up committing suicide. Did you guys know that?
Don
Yeah.
Lapre, what?
Really?
Yeah.
He committed suicide?
Yeah, when the IRS was coming to raid his mansion, he ended it.
No, he ain't taking me.
So yeah, I used to watch Don Lapre, and then there was a couple other ones, and that's what led me into like entrepreneurship, and I was a door-to-door salesman for many years, and I used to, I dabbled into the multi-level marketing stuff and different pyramid schemes or whatnot. And again, when I was doing all those things, one of the companies that I got involved with, Equinox International. You guys ever heard of that one? It's kind of like Amway, but it was more like a rigid structure than Amway. But the guy, Bill Gould, who started it, he started showing all these books one time in one of his videos, and that's where he's like, you know, personal power and Think and Grow Rich, and a lot of those entrepreneurship or personal development books, you know, is where I started studying those things. And I tried to believe it and receive it and go for all of it, and just using my mental faculties and my you know, just a motivated spirit to do the things that I thought I could create my own world and do those things. And I went hard, like like, again, like me and Brandon, we go hard. Like when we go for something, we go all the way. And I went hard for that whole idea of being, you know, starting it. I grew up in a trailer park. I grew up in poverty, and I wanted to be able to you know, transform my life and have a, you know, be able to show the world. It doesn't matter where you come from, you can achieve and believe. What does it say in the beginning of Think and Grow Rich? Whatever the human mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. And so and I went hard for all that, and it didn't work for me back then. In fact, that was one of the things when I tried starting multiple businesses. I tried, you know, overcoming all these things, and they didn't work out. That's when I said F it and just joined the Army. And the Army was a big plan B for me. But again, the military lifestyle, it wasn't for me. I didn't. My mind did not adapt to it. It drove me even more insane. And so when I got out of the Army, that's when you know, I still took some of that entrepreneurship thing, you know, like me and Brandon, we started the Rave company, and then, you know, I had a pretty successful, you know, meth empire for a few years. But again, it was short-lived, and again, that's what caused me to reevaluate everything when I was sitting in that cell. And I was like, you know what, you know, maybe I'm coming at this the wrong thing. Maybe there is more than just mind and body. Maybe there is something to do with the soul. Maybe that's been the issue that I've had for my whole life. And so that when I took a bunch of steps back and I started to say, okay, what is the deal with the soul? What is the deal with the non-corporeal aspect of the human condition? You know, is there an intangible aspect to our life? And man, when you know, I chose to put my faith in Jesus Christ. I chose to walk in Christianity, and I know Christianity, you know, I mean, is mocked. Christianity is looked upon as a system of control. But for me, you know, it's been a system of freedom more than anything. Like I do understand that religion is part of the problem. But
Right.
you know, one of the isms in Christianity is that it's not a religion, it's a relationship with God.
Exactly. And once you judge another person's relationship with God, you're stepped in the wrong zone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to be said about not judging others, and the church as a whole, yeah, it fails. I mean, that's why I choose to be the change that I want to see in the church, though. Like instead of standing outside the church and saying, "Oh, you Christians are a bunch of hypocrites," I plan to transform, at least for the influence that I can bring from within the church, to speak against hypocrisy, speak against judgment, and kind of promote people to make positive change in their mind, their body, and their soul. Amen.
So you're kind of going against what a lot of other people who are so-called religious actually do with their actions, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I mean, I get into it sometimes with some of the old school, like Bible thumping fundamentalists that are more about judgment than they are about grace.
Yeah.
I mean,
judgment and intolerance.
Yeah. And there's a problem with that.
Yeah, it's funny to try to walk those people to the water.
Yeah, right. Indeed. But so who we got? Danny's here.
Hey, Danny.
Oh, good
Danny
morning, Danny.
Relentless.
Good morning, folks.
Good morning, Danny.
Amazing meeting. Great to hear your
It
story.
is, dude.
I'm sorry, I'm driving. I can't really hear your name.
Ken Saul.
Ken?
Yeah.
Ken Saul. Nice to
Yeah.
meet you, man. I'm
Good
Danny.
to meet you. Good to meet you, Danny.
Good to see everyone.
What's your mindset this morning, Danny?
Oh, I'm a little sleepy, but I'm empowered to take on the day, brother.
Like, yeah,
Yeah,
we all,
I
Danny, we all went around and shared a little background on each of us for Ken. So maybe you want to give a little intro.
Of course. First of all, welcome to the group and this little crew that we've assembled. You know, a bunch of little minds that come together trying to get better. My name is Danny. I started calling myself Danny Relentless because I wanted to instill in me just the habit of not quitting and of never improving. I'm sorry, and never quitting, improving, constant and never-ending improvement. I'm originally from Mexico. I came to the States when I was 16 or so. Finished high school here, but parents went back, and ever since I was in Mexico, I was just a little troublemaker. You know, I like to get into shit that I wasn't supposed to. So, I had kind of calmed down by the time that I arrived, but after my parents left, I stayed by myself. Soon I started finding myself with the wrong friends, you know, and not so much wrong friends, just around drugs. You know, I found my way into raves and into drinking. And although I was working, and I was having a good time, and I was thinking that I was a good person, just got in the habit of always being high and having drugs around me most of the time. Next thing you know, I got a couple of DUIs, and that's at the time that I had just come here, so I was illegal at the time. I had a very shitty job. Now I had a drug habit and lots of issues, legal issues to go through. So I crashed my car in one of those DUIs coming back from a party. Just lost my. I don't even know what happened. I just woke up inside. Luckily, it was an empty lot. I went through this chain link fence. It was an empty lot. I landed right on a pole. It was just a single pole that was there. Weird. It was a wooden pole, like a telephone pole, really tall. It fell down. So I must have hit it pretty hard. And weird shit. I didn't quit. After I finished my first program, which is 3 months or so, maybe 6 months after I had a second DUI. So, I was really tired with my life because I was in a job that was just not growing anymore. For a long time they paid me as an illegal, so getting paid 2 hours out of 3, $5 an hour at the time.
Oh yeah, that's bullshit.
I had no car, so how could I even drive anywhere else and fake it? So this place already had given me a job. They knew my situation, so I took on personal development around that time. Started reading books and just getting myself a little better, and it worked. It worked for a long time. I started studying. I did computer repair at the time and network management. So started studying, got some certifications. Actually, before I got the certifications, my attitude got so much better that on a phone call with one of my clients, he just felt the attitude. He needed some help. I'm like, what's up? I think he said, I have a job for you. And I was like, what's up? Because I was just really looking forward to it. And he picked up on that right away. And he's like, we should talk. So within a few months, he hired me back out of that company into where I'm working now. And I felt like life was a lot better then, right? Everything was turning up. Had my license, had my papers, had a good paying job. I was like, this is exactly what I needed. My goal was to be frugal, invest, have fun, be like a digital nomad. I didn't want family. I didn't want kids or anything like that. And throughout this time that I had no car, so I was single most of the time. It's not like I had a lot of time to go. So anyway, long story short, I met a girl at a club,
and started partying or so, and got comfortable with her. It wasn't necessarily what I wanted. I thought that I wanted to take a chill, and next thing you know, I got her pregnant. So now I have a kid, and I had to once again change my lifestyle and adjust and realize that to me that was like a death. I mourned a lot and I bitched a lot because I was so egotistical. I just wanted my goals, and I knew that having a son, I couldn't quite focus on me all the time, 100% being full on personal development. But that's a new situation that I have to deal with and learn to appreciate. It shouldn't be so hard. It's fun, beautiful. But I did struggle, and I am doing a whole lot better. I've gone taking care of my health a lot better. I work out every day, keep my habits on point, and I met this group of badasses who keep me on point when I'm not doing that. So taking it day by day, man. That's a little bit about me in a nutshell. Welcome for joining. I think this is special, and we don't get many people to come in and throw this bullshit around so much because there's not that many people that are like this dedicated and dishonest with their own program and their own relationship with God. I think at the end of the day, this is without religion, whatever background it is, I mean, that takes you there. But yes, that's what we're exercising here. So with much more to say, man, welcome.
Yep.
Cool. Good to meet you. So that's awesome. Yeah. So and we shared a little bit about my past and so I'm a former drug addict, former Army guy. I'm a computer repair guy as well. And
awesome.
Yeah. And so I do that on the side now. And
cool.
But I pastor a church here in Grants, New Mexico, like basically the middle of nowhere. but yeah, cool. And I've been leading this church for a few years, but I've been a pastor for 10 years, and I've done prison and jail ministry, and I'm actually praying on another job opportunity. I just talked to one of the regional directors. There's a ministry called Prison Fellowship. It was started by this guy, Chuck Colson. He was actually part of the Watergate scandal and went to prison for it. And while he was in prison, he saw some things, and he decided that he would give his life to God and spend his life bringing God into prisons. And so that's how the Prison Fellowship ministry started. And it's a huge ministry. They're all over the country, and so I might, Lord willing, I'm going to be working for them pretty soon, as well as doing the church thing. And it's a
perfect
beautiful
for you,
opportunity.
Dude.
Yeah, that sounds like a calling right there.
Yeah. Right. And everything is just falling into place. It's so crazy because I had started a regular job there in the beginning of the summer, and it was the first time I actually had just a regular desk job. I was working at a real estate company, just doing accounts receivable, accounts payable. And accounting was never my main skill set. It was just something I did on the side. But it's a growing company in this little town that I live in, and it's ran by Mormons. And they and so me being an evangelical, the theology is a little different there, but we didn't really have any issues. It just but you could definitely see that their mindsets about grace and their mindsets about encouragement is totally different than where I come from. And so I was doing my best to excel at that job, but I got fired like 3 weeks ago, and it was they just said no, it's not a good fit. They were looking for somebody to be more accurate or something.
More
Mormon?
Okay. Say, rejection is God's protection.
Yeah,
I was born into the Mormon religion.
Oh wow.
My family, a great deal of my family were all Mormons. So I've gone the other way. I don't really believe in organized religion, but I absolutely believe in my Bible.
Yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
yes.
Amen.
Sorry. Sorry for the F word. I shouldn't have done
so
that, man. I shouldn't have done that. Sorry.
yeah, I've
Yeah,
done. Go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, I myself, like for a long time, kind of went the other. My family is very Catholic, and I grew up, I went to Catholic school, and so I also went the other way, almost too much, that I started envying, people when I had trouble and like I didn't know what to do. My mom will always say, "Fuck, you need faith." And we're like, "Well, faith in what? You can't." But when I think about it, it is so powerful to just like put your trust and know that you have faith, that you are in God's hands, and that the whole thing is working the way it's supposed to. Perfect, right? Because it's just the way it is. So you let yourself be an instrument, and when you can have that faith and just put it on, I was like, man, I need to practice that a lot more. Whatever you call it, Jesus or just the universe, the energy that's moving. It's so powerful to not lose that as we, make our own mind thing, our religion.
So for me, philosophically, I'm what's known as a determinist, or compatibilist, to be more specific. But
Nice.
in philosophy, you have libertarianism. You have the idea that free will. I mean, and this is a very a lot of people believe in free will, but again, believing in free will is one thing. You can choose to believe in free will. That's your freedom of choice, right? But again, but does reality reflect determinism or free will? And for me, I've seen that reality, like a lot of high level scientists and philosophers, have both come out against the idea of free will. Like it's a kind of an illusion almost. It's kind of something that we convince ourselves of. And so for me, I'm actually a theological determinist. In the church, they call it a Calvinist or Reformed theology. I believe that God, that the universe we live in is a construct like a matrix, right? And I believe that there is a programmer that programmed this matrix, like, and we call him
Wow.
God. And
Me
so
too, dude. That's interesting to hear. Yeah.
Like a
And so
simulation.
it is. And so this
Yeah.
is the simulated reality. And when we leave this simulation, we actually enter into the true reality. Like,
Right.
and
For the
so
Matrix.
right, I'm actually thinking about writing a book called Digital Theology, because my background in computers, and studying a little bit of computer science, and I'm just a nerd in a lot of ways. like I'm a Bible
Likewise.
nerd, a computer nerd, science fiction nerd. I nerd out on all kinds of stuff. But for me, there's a lot of things in our universe. That point to the deterministic type of idea. So if our universe is deterministic by nature, and if that's true about life, that life is set, like there is a beginning and an end. There's a timeline, and we're just on the timeline somewhere. Okay, what now within our little point on the timeline? Is there ways to change our trajectory? And I believe there is. So in philosophy, compatibilism is the idea that uh, choice is compatible with deterministic overview. So yes, the universe is a predetermined system, but within that predetermined system, uh, independent agents do have volition to a point. So I believe in limited free will. Like, so biblically, you can see that there are people in the Bible that make choices, right? Like Jonah. You guys know the story of Jonah, right? The guy who gets eaten by the whale.
Well, yeah.
So Jonah was told by God to go do a certain thing, and Jonah said, "No, no, no, I'm not going to go do that thing." And he goes the opposite way. But spoiler alert, by the end of the story, Jonah does exactly what God told him to do. But God allows Jonah to go through a whole process of making choices before he does what he was eventually fated to do. And so if God, if God is in control, and I believe he is,
Yeah.
if you want to find your purpose and you want to enter into your purpose, for me, it was aligning myself with the creator, with the divine architect of the universe. And instead of trying to run away from what he wants, I turned and I said, okay, well, if you really do exist and you really do have a plan, I'm gonna submit to your plan. And so for the past 17 years that I've been letting God be God instead of trying to be God myself, I've found so much more freedom. Like my desire is to help brothers be free. And so I mean, I totally get hustle culture. I totally understand that grind. And but I hustle and I grind for God because he's the one that can bring blessing into your life, and he's also the one that can take blessing out of your life. And that whole idea that there's some higher power that can influence your situation is frustrating to some, and you can go ahead. Go ahead, AK.
Well, I just wanted to say our coach, Wes Watson, he always says that your conscience is the authentic voice of God. And so, that is my higher power, my conscience. So to be able to tap into that, he always says, why should if you don't listen to your conscience, why should anyone else listen to you? You don't even listen to you, and that's some profound stuff.
Yeah.
And it's one of our higher faculties: the conscience, the self-awareness, independent will, and creative imagination. And so the integrity of all four of those form one powerful unit, right?
Absolutely. AK is just getting it, bro. that's awesome. Aaron K, you're doing it. Go for it.
Hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
We all are. And I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Hell yeah, man. Good stuff to work out to.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. AK's always working on
that's a good perspective. I like that. I always believe, or not believe, but part of the free will thing is, well, how else are you going to learn your lessons, right? I mean, you touch the stove and it's hot and you get burnt, right? I mean, well, there's a little bit of a feedback you get there. But I do like your view. It's good food for thought.
We definitely have the illusion of a choice. I mean, it feels like we're making a choice.
It sure
and if
does.
it's that real, right? And if it has consequences in our own experience, whatever, if it's predetermined or not, you're experiencing it. And the quality of your experience is really determined by, by your actions. Are you going to have good habits? Are you going to screw over people? Are you going to promote, better vibes than worse vibes? That's going to make an impact,
Yeah.
I mean, whether you believe it or not. So I think at the end of the day, that's what, many religions are promoting, right? Like follow your consciousness in a way that, I mean, we all hear most of the same thing, maybe except schizophrenic or so, but we want to be better with each other. We want to help. We want to grow, right? We want to feel secure. It's normal to want to feel okay. I agree with what Aaron was talking.
Yeah, I was gonna say a bird's eye view to that. It's like, are your beliefs empowering? Are they making you into the person you should be? Or is everybody around you? Are you picking everybody else up? Right. I mean, that's where it's at. Is it good, healthy, wholesome, empowering thoughts, and is it consistent too? Right.
Yeah, consistent is important.
Even when especially when the world is seemingly against you, so to say, right? Or there's that as that our buddy, when we talk about Patrick, like there's a sliver of doubt, you gotta stomp that out, right? Otherwise that becomes a wedge and it becomes a gap and it becomes a schism, from God, right? Definitely.
So
Yeah.
so when your faith and your choices to believe whatever you choose to believe, again, it's going to dictate. So when it comes to conscience, like the brother was saying, so morality for me, and a lot of people say, well, God is or your faith in Jesus is a crutch, and for me, it, I didn't see any reason to have a moral code before I had faith. Like hedonism, which is the idea that pleasure is the most important thing, right? Like whatever you want to do, whatever feels good, do it.
Do it.
That's hedonism. And so living as a hedonist, I didn't give a F about anybody, and I wanted to do the things that made me feel good. And for me, it was just drugs and sex, and and I liked doing drugs, and I liked having lots of sex, and I liked doing those things. And if there is no point to this universe, and if we're just existing, if it's just from the goo to the zoo to just evolution by natural selection, and if I'm not even on if I'm not the fittest, then I'm just gonna die anyway. Well, I might as well have as much fun and experience as much pleasure as I can while I'm here, right?
Yeah.
And that was my mindset before. Like I was
Right.
when I was an atheist, I believed I was a meth cook, and I believed that the whole universe was just chemical reactions. And in a lot of ways it is. Like your mind is a bunch of chemical reactions. Like everything we see is the reaction of the periodic table on different levels. But I
Yeah.
didn't see any deeper than that, and I
Yeah.
had no reason to think anything deeper than that. But again, that mindset led me into darker and darker places. I didn't have any
Right.
conscience after a while. I was just like, F it. If I got to shoot somebody in the face, I just got to shoot somebody in the face. What?
Yeah, that pleasure seeking is just going to lead to wretchedness, right?
Yeah.
Too much pleasure leads to being an absolute wretch,
Yeah.
especially with that devil's dandruff.
Yeah.
Especially with that. Yeah.
Well,
So
you guys think that believing in pure determinism stifles innovation?
I don't. I'm like I said, I'm a compatibilist though.
But determinism means that everything's been predetermined. In other words, based on a previous event, the next event will happen.
Yes.
Oh,
and that's what science suggests.
So how do you go out into the unknown?
So
And that's what innovation is all about. So like for me, I can give you a prime example in my life. I had an issue. I think I told the story to the guys before. I'm a photographer and videographer, and I used to film King Hammers, which is like the Super Bowl rock crawl. And they wouldn't, as an independent, working for an independent company, Hammer King Productions, which owns that race, would not allow me to get a drone permit to fly my drone in the rock crawls. So I did a lot of research. No one's done this before. I created you have to do hiking to get out to these rock crawls because they're hard to access. And I've seen cable cams where they run a camera on a cable system. So I created, it's never been done before. I looked all over the internet. In fact, the Hammer King people were dumbfounded and they couldn't stop me from doing it because it was a ground-based camera system. I created a one-man cable cam. So I created a remote controlled cable cam running on a stainless steel cable that I was able to hike with, string across a 500-foot span across the rock crawls. And then I bolted my drone to it because the drone had the camera system with a wireless transmission, so I could control and frame the shot and run it on the cable because the drone was light enough to run on the lightweight system that I developed, and no one's created that before. There was no prior event that I could work on to create that system. and I hiked it out there. And even the Hammer King guy, the owner of Hammer King, he saw me at the next rock crawl, and he was like, we really wanted to stop you from using it, but we couldn't. I'm like, yeah, I know you could because of the ground-based camera system, even though, so I was flying a drone by wire basically. And,
Nice.
and they'd never seen it before. And so if I believed in determinism, then I would have to rely on my past events to propel to create that. But there were no past events for me to draw from to create that. In fact, I looked all over the internet. There were no past events that anybody else has attempted to use this wire cam to do what I did using stainless steel cable instead of the nylon cord that it comes with, and doing all these things. And so I thought really I'm an out of the box thinker, so I understand that most of my day-to-day actions are worked on past events, and if I want to make change in my life, I need to stop. I need to not utilize a lot of what I learned from the past, and I have to step out into the unknown. And so I kind of believe in the 80-20 theory, where like up to 80% of you need to discard up to 80% of your past to get growth. In other words, there's 20% of the things you did in the past that you can take with you to propel you forward, but literally the 80% of it is like not usable, because if you continue to rely on that stuff, you continually replay the present moment over the past moment over and over again in your present. And so you end up doing the same shit every day over and over again. So if you see throughout societies, we program people to do that because we don't want them to change. We want them to do the same shit every day. We want them to go to work every day. We want them to go to the bar every day. We want them to do all these things. And so determinism kind of plays into that, because you are making current decisions today based on past events. And if you continue living in the past, you end up doing the same shit over again, and there is no innovation. You don't step out into the unknown. You don't take your vision and go into reality, because a lot of times people envision things that they don't have past events to fall back on. So they have to make a decision based on no previous events. Because if you envision to be a millionaire, but you've never been a millionaire before, how do you using determinism? You're like, well, that's just my fate. I'm not going to be a fucking millionaire. And that's totally false. Lots of people change their lives every day by not past events to shape their future. So as far as pure determinism, I don't believe it. Because if I believed in that, I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you guys on this call. I've been doing the same thing I did 10 years ago today.
So I mean, I completely get it, bro. I understand that pure determinism is a it's a cringy kind of concept, and a lot of people when you present it, again, most people say, well, no, even like what Danny was saying, it sure feels like we're making real decisions, and by all means, I believe we do make real decisions, because so you said the 80-20. I believe that life is actually a 90-10. Life is 90% perception, 10% actual. So the way we perceive our reality is 90% on just how we think about things. I mean, and if you want to change your reality, you need to change your thinking about your reality, right? And so with the idea that everything is predetermined can be true, can be false, and your choice to perceive it as one way or the other is going to impact your mind. I believe that I choose to believe that there is a creator that has predetermined things. So that thing that you innovated, so it's still based. You are the predetermined cog in that timeline. God had put everything in the universe to come together at the right amount of time, and created your biochemistry and your mind to be an innovator, to bring that thing into the universe. Like, God used you to make that thing. I mean, that's how my deterministic mind sees the things that do come in through innovation are by divine inspiration. And so when I transform my life, it's not because there was anything, it was me, but I was connecting to a divine inspiration that actually set me free out of the path that I was on. But again, This universe is pretty crazy. Go ahead.
So your determination isn't like a hardline pure determination. It's more like you're a co-creator.
Compatibilism.
You're you're more like you're a co-creator.
You could see it that way, that we are God works through us, and so we are creators. I mean, so the beginning of the Bible says man is created in the image, the imago Dei, in Latin, the image of God. And so we are divine. We are created in a divine nature anyway. So human beings are unique in the animal kingdom, right? Like we have some different spark than any other thing that exists on this planet. And I believe that is the image of God that separates us, and that's what actually causes us to subdue the earth and subdue our situations, because we have the divine spark within us, because the creator of this universe is a creator, and he has placed he has programmed that code way deep into our DNA. man, that's how it means.
There
way
is
that
such
I
a thing as
understand
a
it.
God consciousness.
I've heard of that.
I don't know if you've ever read any James Allen, but he talks about that throughout a lot of his books. And he was just so spiritually connected. He's pretty much says that God resides within every human mind, and it's just an extension of denying yourself, selflessness, and a million other little attributes, But yeah, I just wanted to add that in.
I kind of had a thought frame for this. Like, I think there's a lot of predetermined things in the operating system that's been laid out, right? And then we're allowed to make software for that operating system. And I think, I feel like part of the test, because everything's a test, right? And just like in the video game, if you pass the test, if you beat the big, I say all the time, all challenges, opportunities build strength, right? So it's like, if you look at it like that, perceptual, like that, then on the other side, when you overcome these big challenges, just like the big boss in the video game, there's a shiny coin. There's a reward for that overcoming. And I think also that this is as a cultivator, right? We have a seed test. And I just found out recently you can do this with eggs to find out if there's a bad egg, right? Too. But the seeds that sink are fertile, ready to grow. And the seeds that float are not, right? And in Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil, the drifter is fucked, right? And the solid
aimlessness.
Right. And then I'm thinking also that one part of the test is, what programs can you build, son? Right? Like, let's see what you can do. And then another one is your true colors are going to come out in this life. There's so much, me and Kenny were talking about this yesterday. There's so many people back from, I'm so proud of the guy, everybody that I seem to maybe handpick for my life, maybe not, you know what I mean? Maybe at some point, when I was being super tested as a very young person, sitting in a freaking cell at 8 years old, you know what I mean? Or whatever, some sort of thing was like, I don't know, but I think that when your heart is in the right place, it's through that actually that your best opportunities and your best relationships are able to happen. And if your heart's not in the right place, you just do not have access. There is a firewall, and we have it as individuals, and I think the operating system has it as a whole. You know what I mean? That you just aren't able to interface until you get your heart into that right place. So that's a variable. And then I think, your true colors are coming out. I saw, and here's two little pieces of fun fact that go into this. I watched, you know, when I was always a big Mike Tyson fan, remember, you know, because I was a boxer, right? And so, and then when he opened Mike Tyson's hot boxing podcast, I watched every episode, you know.
Right
and
on.
Wow.
I mean, Mike Tyson is actually like a fucking excellent role model. It's super honest. I like what you said, keep it real, cat, you know, and and I think that's the only person I can really kind of tolerate, right? And so I was just like sucking this up. And then in there, he had a DMT experience that he shared. And in that experience, he said, I have no secrets. Everybody could see every skeleton in my closet, right? And there's no secrets. It's all transparency. And I'm just like, man, I fucking knew that since I was a little kid. Like, you are not going to be able to, you know, lying to people is the worst thing you could do to them, you know. And so and I think and then right, like as Marcus Aurelius, all right, it was Marcus Aurelius, right? Like you do something wrong to another person, you're actually just doing that wrong to yourself more than anybody, right? You know, if you deceive others, you're really just deceiving yourself. If you rob from others, you know, karmically, that's going to cost you more than it's going to cost them. You know what I mean? Now I've noticed
your
those,
experience.
Oh, yeah, exactly, right?
It's your
So
experience. You're the one doing all that, all that, you know, negative crap, and it's gonna pay off in your life. If you don't believe it, try it. Do some shit that is shady. See how it goes. If
Straight
it
up.
doesn't go well, right? You know, that's why
You
we
guys-
feel like we have a choice. You know, in
You
a
guys
way
know
that the rules
the-
of this world is so weird that we don't have a choice but to think that we have a choice.
And I think
because we see the
everyone's
consequences.
confronted with these truths, but man, really, most people fall off. You know, there's a lot of floating seeds, man. You know what I mean? And Kenny, I think we both know a lot of seeds that floated off, man, and they're just not coming back. You know what I mean? And like, you know, my own mother, she's in her 70s. She's one of those, you know what I'm saying? I know lots of older people that are just definitely, they're going to go all the way to the deathbed, probably right before they die. They're going to be like, oh, fuck, I did, you know, but then that's it. You know what I mean? And the record is there. The recording is there as the Mike Tyson experience happened. Now, I've never done DMT. I never did ayahuasca. I felt actually told to just not do that stuff. And I had really been building like a solid thing. However, I did go down this near-death experience testimony rabbit holes on YouTube for like a year. And I also saw another DMT experience that Duncan Trussell shared with Joe Rogan, where he saw like everyone do, like when you in your kindest, most beautiful moment, you know, where you help some little kid out of the trenches or some person dying or whatever.
Sorry, Cody.
Or you do some excellent bike trick. And all, he said he saw a very video game like representation of that piece of the recording being encapsulated and categorized and going up to like a highlight reel of human life. You know what I mean? Storage bank, hard disk, and
You don't
Love
listen
it.
to it?
yeah. And so after seeing that,
You guys fucking
I've been thinking, man, all right, I just gotta really do some highlights here, right? And me and Kenny were talking too. We've got our our pieces of the dynamic test that we didn't pass. But back to the original idea that we're maybe we're allowed to innovate applications in the operating system that are new. I mean, what do you think that it's a predetermined main timeline as far as like big cataclysmic goods and evils, but then we have a lot of little room to do creative things and products of will. Is that kind of what you think?
Yeah, so I believe that within our spot on the timeline, we have what I call it is limited free will. So just like if you're playing in an open world video game, you can do whatever you choose to do within the parameters of that open world video game, right? You can run around, you can GTA, like you go kill people, you go wherever you want, and you don't have to follow any predetermined thing, but you cannot leave the parameters of what's in the video program, right? You can't choose to do magic in GTA because there's no magic in GTA, right? Right. And so
you can't just fly.
Fly, right? Yeah, unless you get a jetpack. Yeah, I think that was in one of the earlier versions. But yeah. So if you understand that there is a predetermined, like a sacred timeline, if you go with the Marvel Cinematic Universe or whatever, but there is a sacred timeline, and within that timeline, we are given choices to make. The Creator gives us, so there's another belief system within Christianity called Molinism, which is kind of like a multiverse, like a way to see it, where God exists in every possible timeline. And every possible choice that can be made, God already knows every possible outcome, and He exists in all of those. And so, but He does give, according to a Molinist, He gives us the choice to go down whatever. So a Molinist holds on to the libertarian free will of the creation. So they believe that. So a Molinist believes that each individual can make libertarian choices. So if I choose, I can choose to go A or B, and that choice is directly upon me. For me, I believe that God has been lining everything up since way before I was even on the planet, to bring me to the choices that He wanted me to make way before, and has a plan for way after I'm gone. I just have the privilege of being part of the plan for as long as He has me part of the plan. But I believe that there is going to be an end point for the plan, and so for me, my study of the Bible, it's basically, if you read the end of the story, it's basically an end justifies the means type of scenario. Like the question of why is there pain and suffering and addiction and all these things in the world? Why did God, if God exists, why is there so much pain? Right? This is called the
revolution of your consciousness, right?
Well, there's a reason for it. Yeah. So there is a purpose, and the end justifies the means. So all of the darkness, it serves a purpose so that way we can actually determine the light. And there is darkness in the world, but it is the contrast against the light. And so the more we start to realize how dark the world is, the more we can appreciate the light when we do receive it. And so that's my understanding of okay, because I'm a pretty analytical person, and when I first came into being a person of faith, I was like, well, why in the heck does God allow babies to die and of cancer and all this crazy, all the craziness we see? Why does God allow these things? If God is in control and He's a determinist, or He is the determiner of the deterministic system, why did He determine it this way? And for a lot of people, that causes them to leave faith, because they don't understand why God would allow so much unimaginable suffering to happen in natural disasters or human wars and all of the other chaos systems that we have. Why, if there is a creator, why would He allow that? And for me, I come to the idea that God has a plan. And people will say, well, I don't like His plan. I get it, but you're not God, and I'm not God.
Well, as a cultivator now, professionally or whatever, I really agree with that. And I think that the plan is to cultivate strong species, strong members of His army. And I think that I do agree with the limited free will. I see what you're talking about as far as where the limitations are set in this operating system. And I think that, you know, we've been given our own choice of where we want to be in the seed test, which is beautiful, right? And is responsible and accountable and all those attributes of strength, right? And I mean, it's like the tree at the top of the hill, it can be the same species, but because it's got the wind resistance there, it grows a stronger trunk. Some species may not have bark at the bottom of the hill, but they do at the top, right? And it's that top species that's producing the most seeds that fall down to the bottoms. Anyway, just an abstract thought there, kind of.
But you can see even in that example that there is purpose. Like our universe is designed with purpose, and the more that we understand that we are created with a purpose. We're not just random chance and matter just colliding.
Right.
We are purposeful, created beings for a reason, a divine reason, a glorious reason. So a lot of people who don't like the idea of determinism say, well, if everything is predetermined, then nothing matters, right? This is called fatalism or nihilism. Like so the idea that someone that if everything is already set to be, then why should I do anything, right? Well, the reason why we should do things and be innovators and make choices, because we have a purpose. There's a divine, glorious purpose in us. That's why we should think and grow rich. We should do and innovate and stand up and we should have morals and we should have love and we should do these things because we are created with a purpose. And so my divine purpose is what drives me to continue to seek all of the infinite possibilities that are in the world, because I believe that there is a purpose within those possibilities.
I believe you're right. In fact, I even get the idea that this kind of, I just wrote this down, like this life and what you do in this life decides your rank in the next. I really think that's what it is, and like we were talking about yesterday, it's like all I want to do now. I don't even want to make money. You know what I mean? I just want that. I want to get that rank in the next life. And I can feel that. And I felt that when I was a 13-year-old kid real strongly, and kind of a spiritual experience where I was actually, well, it doesn't matter, but for a 13-year-old kid to be in Birmingham, Alabama, just broke out of some place, you know what I mean? And on his knees in the rain, saying, okay, I'm just learning about God. Please, I want to be an archangel in your thing. That, looking back, right, hindsight 2020, I had that happen to me, and that's a true story. And then I can see how that reach for God right there actually started in the metaphysical world, a back running cyclic process where something was a little bit more interested in me than before. You know what I mean? That I got that tension of something on the other side. I call him Tank because I don't know from the Matrix, right? But it's like Tank saw this code coming out of this young person, and man, like I've had my life saved over and over and over. I told you about that one thing, and it's like, dude, that's impossible. It's just impossible. And that it was through another person who talk about drifter. And that's why I'm just like, I think, because we recognize these things off of each other. We recognize the character in one another, and we recognize the lack of character in one another. And so for sure, whatever's on the other side, it sees very clearly exactly what each individual is. And I think through the journey, you get help from the other side. Man, I swear I felt like I've been moved like a chess piece a couple of times now. And I mean, put right into like I was telling you, man, I went to Bremerton, Washington when I got sent to my boat. And then that thing, when we deployed to the Persian Gulf, searched for weapons of mass destruction, 2005, came back and reported on the other side of the country in Virginia, 2 hours away from where my kid was. It's just like, and then an hour away from my dad, where my dad would get restationed and him and I would reunite. I mean, those kinds of things. And then, like I said, when I scrolled down and put my uncle contacted me from the other side supernaturally 3 times, actually. And his best friend, and there's an article about this lady, his best friend, she went blind and they're both blues music enthusiasts, insanely, right? And myself included. But so this woman, she went blind and she would touch the faces. She did BB King, Johnny Winter, like 20 faces, right? And then would sculpt the mask of their face. And then this gallery of 20 masks now travels the world. Her name's Sharon McConnell. Anyway, I called one of the supernatural, she was my uncle's best friend. And when one of the supernatural experiences that I had happened, I ran to the phone. I called her right away. I was like, "You're never going to believe this. You're never going to believe this. I got the house back today from this investigation," right? And he hugged me on the balcony. There's no fire. I was just thinking in my head the whole time. I was like, a punk later in life would forget about this, would tell himself this didn't happen, this wasn't real, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? You're never going to do that. No. And I could feel, I'm crying. I can feel him hugging me. I ran to the phone, called her right away. She starts fucking bawling for like 4 minutes. Then she stops, puts herself together. She was like, "Brandon, your uncle's the only one who knew that the last thing I saw before I went blind was a butterfly. And I just saw an electric butterfly. I haven't seen anything in 14 years. I just saw an electrically blue butterfly fly across my eyeballs. Just a couple hours ago, just like you, had that hug with him." So, yeah. So, I keep thinking back to this 13-year-old point. But dude, I remember I told you I got baptized right after me and you split, and then I joined the military, and then I just took care of this kid, and I stayed straight. And the one thought that came into my mind, because you get these clear thoughts at these points, you know what I mean? And this one thing, like every point that has been so drastic like this for me, I have a very clear thought that goes with it. And when I touched his name, I was like, oh my God, this is because of the 10 years of Christianity you've been so dedicated with, that you were able to even get this message, this tap on the shoulder to look up, as this guy's publishing this article, and it's that first result right there, and so it was just like.
Yeah, I mean, so what is a miracle? Like,
you have it
that happens sometimes.
No.
Yeah. So a miracle is, I believe, the programmer editing the software, right? so the one who wrote the software has the ability to edit the software and input his own new form of code. And so when a miracle happens, something that isn't according to the normal program, that's I believe divine intervention. You guys have heard of that term, right? Like,
absolutely.
And so divine intervention happens when God, according to his plan, it decides to say, okay, this is the baseline operating system, like Brandon was saying, but I'm going to actually enter in a new piece of code at this point, and there's going to be a miracle that's going to happen. Now, like especially when the idea of, okay, near-death experiences, like, because you guys might have heard the term, when it's your time to go, it's your time to go, and if it's not your time to go, it's not your time to go. A guy that I follow online, his name is David Parnell. He was a meth cook like I was, and he put a SKS under his chin and squeezed the trigger and blew his face off. and he didn't die.
He didn't
Like,
die.
like look him up. Look up Chase or is it facingthedragon.com, or just look up David Parnell, meth cook, and it'll come up.
Facing the Dragon.
Yeah, and
I like that.
Chasing the Dragon.
Yeah, let me.
Oh, you said Chasing the Dragons?
Yeah, let me see.
I heard
Let
you
me see
say
which one it is.
Facing the Dragon. I know that Chasing the Dragon is a meth term.
Yeah, or it's a so David Parnell.
I like the phrase, it's who is going to slay the dragon, right? The dragon's going to run through a lot of town folk before this freaking guy who was taken in by other knights when he was a young boy and has this crazy story, you know, Braveheart comes and slays the dragon or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Well,
no. The book is Facing the Dragon because he blew off his face.
Facing the Dragon. Okay, all right. So it is Facing the Dragon.
Yeah.
Hey, Ken, I just wanted to say, you know, this mastermind was kind of rooted in following the principles behind Think and Grow Rich. I don't know if Brandon told you that, but that's exactly what we want to do because, you know, every good person deserves richness, you know, and abundance in their life because they're only going to spill it over into other people and do good in the world. You know, they're going to take that to do good in the world. So I think all of us deserve it, you know, and I still, I just bought the Think and Grow Rich workbook, and I'm just determined to follow these principles and find some financial freedom. Really, I just want to go where I want, when I want, with who I want, how I want, if I want, you know?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and have a life of adventure.
So what is true riches?
Internal attributes, man. It's that God consciousness. It's that spiritual enlightenment. That's true riches. But I'm just short of money.
Well, indeed, like so. But money comes and goes. Like it is a fluid aspect of this construct, right? Like so, when you need money, God will give you money. Like so that's what I've experienced. If I need something, I ask my heavenly Father, and he provides. Like he has opened. He never
you shall
fails.
receive, right?
There it is. That's exactly it.
Yeah. If
we all need to do that
enough,
today.
He'll hear you asking it. He'll feel it in you asking.
Yeah, and he'll give you the means and the opportunities and the doors to open to walk through it. But again, there are deeper riches to be found in this life that money
More
money
than
cannot
money.
buy. Yeah, and that's what I want to encourage my brothers to strive for, is that true riches. You can't go to the bank and get it. Like true riches
it's that higher rate of vibration. I just wanted to tell Danny that. Oh, is Danny still there? Danny, I'm a little jealous watching you do the burpees because I absolutely screwed myself up during the 1,000 burpee challenge, man. My knees messed up, my shoulders messed up. I'm watching you do burpees, and I'm like, motherfucker jumped out at 400. Smart. Because I think I might have to
It's a marathon on 100 meters.
The 1,000 burpee jersey, you guys, unless I am built up to it. I wasn't built up to it back when we were doing burpees every day, Brandon. When we did the 1,200 and the 1,000, I was built up to it. I've only been doing burpees like once or twice a week for a couple months now. Not built up to it, thinking I'm gonna bust out 1,000 and not injure myself.
You got to just stretch the shit out of yourself.
Oh man, I've been doing knee exercises. I don't know if I injured my knee doing the burpees, but I know I injured my shoulder. So I just kept going through it after I injured myself, which probably made it even worse. Of course.
Maybe not. Maybe it's a good galvanization and good
well,
rib
whatever.
and good
It was
recovery,
God's
right?
plan.
Yeah.
Much better take it easy, man.
I can't mess with the plan, can I?
Yeah, I got to
Hey,
check
guys,
out.
very nice meeting. I gotta get going, guys.
Yeah,
Much
I'm
love. Ken.
fully.
Nice meeting you.
I gotta
Yeah,
check
no, I
out
mean,
too,
Brandon,
but I want to
Terrence,
read this.
Victor Franco. So nice meeting you.
I want to read this
You guys.
poem out of Faith and Think and Grow Rich before I go, though.
yes, let's hear it.
If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. And that's
Well,
faith.
I think I can.
I
Believe
know I
me.
can.
Yeah.
I absolutely know I can. I do it
Yes,
every
you
day.
do.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
It's only hard until you do it.
That's right, man.
Nothing to it but to do
Thanks
it.
for coming in
Beautiful.
today, Ken. It was very, very good. Good seeing everybody in here, man. Good group this morning.
Beautiful
Good to
morning.
meet you, brother.
Beautiful way to start the day.
Yeah,
Hug, Stanton. Have a great day, bro.
I'll crush it.
I will.
Yep,
All
enjoy
right,
the
time to go blow around some
Thanks
leaves,
again,
guys.
Take care.
Yeah. See you
guys.
tomorrow, guys.
All right, we'll see you guys. Nice meeting you, Ken.
Have a banging
All
day,
right,
guys.
good to meet y'all. Bless
Yeah,
y'all.
All right.
come back anytime.
Have a great day. Yeah, come back. Come back. We'll
All right.
mastermind some Think and Grow Rich and get some ideas formulating.
Let's
That's what
go.
it is.
guys.
Rich people have ideas. Average people sell their time for money. Fucking rich people sell ideas for money. That's the difference.
Let's go.
All right, guys.
Or even better, ideas for complete richness.
Complete
There
richness.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
man.
what's up.
And I'm not just talking that money, but I think if you're physically and mentally fit, you're way richer than most millionaires.
Yeah, indeed.
You know.
Spiritual
All
health,
right,
mental
guys, have a
health
great
is
day.
true health. Yeah. All right, we'll see you.
Yo, Kenny, man, cool deal, dude. Thanks.
Yeah.
How do you feel? What do you think about the fellas? It's
Awesome,
cool, huh?
awesome meeting, guys. And I'm totally like encouraged. I definitely now I need to go work out. Like
Yeah.
I need to get up and do something, right? So yeah, I'm probably gonna hit me a little workout today. I was gonna share a picture with you. Let's
Do
see.
that. No, I'm cool, man.
You know, Kenny, your body is the only thing you have absolutely 100% control over. You don't
Amen.
have 100% control over your money or relationships or anything else in life. But what you do have 100% control over is your body.
Amen. Let me share this picture with you guys. So in 2017, I did a full body transformation. Let's see if it'll pop up. Bam. Okay, let's go share. Go share. Share it. Bam. Can you see that?
Oh, wow.
So I went from
Holy
200.
shit, dude.
Yeah. I
Fuck
went
yeah, bro. Good job. So
I
what?
went from
2017 is at the end of the hell.
yeah, right. So
Yeah.
that I went for I did a 40-day fast. I didn't eat solid food for 40 days. And then I started the keto diet, and I did the insanity program, the first one, the second one, and then I was in the gym. So I went from January to August. I just killed it, and I want to do that again.
Yeah.
I'm about back up to where I was at the beginning of 2017 right now. But at the same time, I think I believe I know that I can do better again and do it.
Dude, drop me your email in the Facebook chat that we've been talking on, because I got something for you.
Okay. So I just started some testosterone enhancement stuff that says it's supposed to boost, and so
It's all natural, right? Like all natural.
It's actually I think it's the Joe Rogan one. Hold on.
Oh, okay, perfect. Yeah,
Hey,
do
hey
not
Kenny,
inject
you know
any
what the number
shit.
one, Kenny, the number one testosterone booster is working out.
Ooh,
Indeed.
ooh,
So this is the one
Testosterone booster
alpha
is the
test.
gym.
Yeah, I get it. No, I definitely need to just shut up and do it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, listen, I have a small, I am a big believer in the chemicals produced by our nature that we're supposed to eat. I can show you, I had an old man who was having some serious issues in his stomach, ulcerative colitis, right? And there was huge tumors in this x-ray, and they wanted to give him all the fucking,
Chemo and everything.
chemo as hair out and torture him. And he was like, all right, well, I guess let's try the all natural way first. A friend of mine, he was a mutual friend of a friend of mine. Mine's like, yeah, I work with this guy, Brandon. I bet you we can heal you with the all natural thing. And so we did it in his, he was 65, his dick started working again, right? And then,
Wow.
and I, at this point in time, I had this massive, badass jungle juice concoction. I always make jungle juice. I make it right now. I got a garden. I got gardens everywhere, right? And I do 3 of them a day for myself. And if I stop, the PTSD lines, I think, start to open up, or I don't know. Anyway, like my condition starts to, I can't eat fast food and shit anymore. Like my mental condition needs to have super nutrition constantly. And but I take no pills or none of that, right? And anyway, I've been able to come up with concoctions and get 1,400 testosterone results. This guy was doing blood tests, and I mean,
that's
that's
what they
phenomenal.
say. That's what the guy said, that he was taking this stuff and he got up to like a 1,400. He said it was almost too much, so he had to had to stretch it back. So we'll see how it goes.
I mean, and just never inject anything, right? Because it burns the backside of your liver.
Yeah, I'm not doing the
really
juice.
takes time off of your life.
Yeah. So my son actually was trying to get me to do a cycle of the juice, and I was just like, nah. If I need, like, I don't need to go there. I mean,
I'll give you another list too. Like, you can stack with that one and be freaking, I mean, just amazing. Dude, I was doing like 3.5 plates on the bar and bench and shit for a moment there. I'm not really into that so much, just because I like fight weight, as light as you could be for as strong as you could be. But
absolutely. All right, sweet brothers. I'm about to hit it. I got to get my daughter to school and stuff. So blessings.
So in the chat, I posted a YouTube link for Dr. Mike. I don't know if you guys watch it.
I watch him.
Renaissance Periodization. Okay, so this is his video on testosterone boosters. Scientifically, what works and what doesn't work. Do they actually work?
Yeah.
So, well, there's 2 Dr. Mikes. There's a Dr. Mike.
I was like, I thought that was
Dr.
the
Mike,
other
the
Dr.
PhD
Mike.
in physiology. Yeah.
So, I watched both of them.
And they're both friends. So, anyways, just for that, I put in the chat his video on, are there any testosterone boosters that actually work? So, but the biggest thing obviously is like you can increase your testosterone naturally by just actually working out.
That's super true.
You create a stimulus to your body that causes your body to actually create more testosterone. So,
I mean, they even know which workouts trigger the most testosterone production.
Like they say leg day, right?
The biggest thing is as you put more muscle mass on your body, you increase your metabolic health, and as you increase your metabolic health, you lose the fat. And fat is where where estrogen was created and stuff. And so as you reduce fat in your body, it's a double positive.
Right.
So, but you do need estrogen. There's always a balance to your hormonal system. So
balance.
But check that out. And just get out and start moving. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, do it, man. It says shut up and do it, right?
Nothing to it but to do it. Dude, send me your email right now. I got something for you, man. And
okay.
Yeah, bro. Dude, this has been fucking phenomenal. Just I'm so pumped, dude. Just reconnecting with an old fucking homie and just having such a spiritual connection in it all. And but yeah, I like also, John, dude, thank you for the link and that input as far as like getting your body right. And I think, you know, when God and the angels are looking down on us, they just want us to see us optimize every part of our life and become our best, right? You know, that's what they
Yeah.
want.
And
I think that's right.
going back to Ken's determinism, based on past events, you know you can get your body to look like that again.
Absolutely. I know.
And you know you can tweak it to improve that based on your past events, what you've done in the past. You know what you got to do. Just go do it.
Let's do it. All right, brothers. I'm gonna hit it, and blessings. I'll see you guys. I don't know if I can get
We're
up this
here
early
every day,
tomorrow,
dude. Jump in
but yeah,
anytime.
I'll probably be on at 5, so I'll be on the second hour.
Right on, dude. Right on.
I'm in the same time frame you are. I'm in Arizona. I can get up this early. You know, the mindset about getting up this early is that you have time for you. You know, you have to work on yourself so you can serve others. You can't unless you serve yourself, you can't serve others. So this time frame allows me to serve me without impeding on my ability to serve others. And so that's why this time frame between 3 and 5 or 6 in the morning is super important.
All right.
Yeah, let me testify to that too. The best chapters, and this is from this Wes Watson guy they're talking about. The best chapters in my last 6 years, 7 years since I saw one of the first videos. I was also God guided to this when this guy's living with his grandmother. I had just a couple of followers. I never was on the internet. Came into this internet cafe from the jungle, checked some shit real quick, emailed a couple AB contacts, right? And then somehow I went to a YouTube at an internet cafe. Never even did that, right? And there was him. And I got 3 things from that video. The reminder of the burpee, and he had a 2:30 wake up time, which he developed while he was incarcerated. 2:30 a.m. or 2:45 a.m. for him. Dude, let me tell you something, bro. Going to bed at 7:30 or 8 or whatever, and then getting up at 2:30. Holy moly, bro. Especially if you can get a consistent routine like that. That's the most productive chapters in my last 7 years. The most productive, grounded, positive chapters where I was actually even playing a helpful role in other lives. You know, right now I'm really back to just do all the shit you need to do so you don't float away, right? But at those points where I'm actually doing the 2:30, I've noticed that 2:30 wake up, if I can buckle down on that, man, I'm actually, that's when I'm at my very, very best, man. So just to share what works.
Go, bro. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
All right, guys.
Peace out.
Who up? Hey, John, if you got 1 second, man, I was gonna actually text you yesterday or call you or something, but then I'm just like, no, I fucking call people too much. But
no, my phone's always available for any of the fellas,
Yeah, I mean, one thing in the back, that portal distinto is still there. And one thing to think in the back of our minds, and we could start in a small country like Panama, right, where the population is only 5 million. Because when I initially imagined advertising this thing, well, all we got, the schoolhouse is there. All we got to do is put instruction in, actual teacher in it, to a couple, and you could do that through AI right now as far as language goes, right? But I've got it good. And then once it has a little bit of capital coming in, we just hire one guy. I got the guy right now. But I don't want to fuck with no one, right? Not everyone's in a situation as we are to be able to endeavor and creative process, right? But thank you, Tank. Thank you, Lord, right? What I'm thinking, when I originally imagined this, I was like, yeah, we go hard TV commercial time is actually not expensive anymore, especially in this country. And they still watch TV, and there's still a ton of homes with the things plugged into it. I know I go to church here too, and there's a guy in my church, and his children are in this $50 a month English class, which is bullshit, dude. It's fucking totally like from 20 years ago. It looks like it's the Atari version. And
I'm looking back to like Wes Watson, how he started. He created organic following to engage people to like get into his program. And now he's like plastering YouTube with all these like ads with him like talking, like trying to sell his program. And it just doesn't seem like he's getting some flack from old people, because the people that have been around watching, they're like, why is he advertising this shit? It's like, he was always talking about posting organically. Now he's got YouTube ads on everything. And so if you've ever clicked on his shit, it's like his YouTube ad shows up. His YouTube ad shows up in my YouTube feed. And I'm like, oh man, this is, and so I'm kind of wondering how if you develop Porto Distinto like in an organic way, where you just get some kids on it, and they get results, and then they tell people, and then they tell people, and then you have engaging content to get them over to it, like using TikTok and other things like that. Like you've been trying to like push other things. Why don't you just do it with like social media to engage people in that region to come try it out, see if they can learn something and get some results.
That's definitely the correct response in this conversation for sure.
Right.
But just to throw a seed out there, and I need to do more of that. I've done a little bit of it. I guess I kind of just turned around when I wasn't going to be able to. I'm reforming the idea, and this conversation is very helpful for that for sure. But at the same time, just to throw it out there, if you did do we should probably do that. Build the organic first. But I think for this particular thing, it would be good. I mean, Andrew Tate was 1000% organic, I believe. Well, no, he did a genius move on social media, tricking algorithms and using his small club of followers after being a casino owner and having some sort of, a little bit of clout where people are listening. And I actually have that in this country and in Colombia. So I need to revisit all those kinds of thoughts. But
I have an example like in my life, like my photography business. I do zero advertising for it. Zero advertising for it at all. But in the area, I'm known as one of the better drone pilots. As licensed, for several years. I'm known as one of the best drone pilots in the area. And then also through my real estate photography business happened organically, where when COVID hit, I lost all my racing stuff, gigs. So I pivoted into real estate photography by having a friend that was a real estate agent told me, man, you ought to shoot this, you're a good photographer. And so I got into it organically. I still do zero advertising on my real estate photography. It's 100% organic through word of mouth. It's just
what does that actually bring in, just between me and you?
It brings in about 100,000 a year.
Really?
It's easy. Yeah, it's easy. Yeah, it's easy. Most of my shit's automated, like with my website and stuff like that. Yeah, if you're good and you know what you're doing and stuff, yeah. But even people starting out stubbing their toe, like when I first started out doing it on the side, I was making like 30 grand a year, just kind of doing it like a little bit and trying to do my race stuff still. But then when I went full time, where I developed my process and everything else, now it's like, even like the other day, I have a real estate agent tell me like, John, I'm so happy I found you. She's like, it's really hard to find good real estate photographers. So it's not like there's not real estate photographers out there. It's people that are passionate about their craft and get into it, and get and understand it and do your thing. So it's whatever you're gonna do, you need to like, and it's about me too. Like I understand the basic concepts of running a business where I differentiate myself from other photographers here in the area, where I do these other things. And a lot of it is my delivery time frame. I guarantee you will get your stuff in 24 hours or less. And that's unheard of. That's unheard of. Most real estate photographers have a 72-hour expected time frame, ETA, to get your stuff. but I understand real estate. I understand that when they sign a real estate listing contract, they have 24 hours to get the listing hot. And so a lot of my real estate agents, they don't know they're going to get the listing till then. So a lot of times they have to hold off the listing because they can't get their photographs, and sometimes up to a week, and that time can make a difference whether you get the listing shot up on a Friday so you can leverage the weekend. Because out here we have a lot of out-of-town visitors and stuff that come in, and you know, they're buying a vacation property and stuff like that. So that another thing I differentiate myself is like I'm only photographer in the area that offers free digital floor plans. And so I'm utilizing a company called Kubicasa that using the LiDAR sensors on the cell phone, you know, so using the camera and the LiDAR sensor on the cell phone, they have software where I can walk through the entire home. It digitally scans the home, uses AI to create the floor plan, create a blueprint of the.
What's the
And
name
it
of that?
returns, it's called Kubicasa, and it returns that. And because I'm a preferred photographer with them, I can get the digital floor plan back to me in 12 hours or less. So it works in my 24-hour time frame of developing stuff. And so I have real estate agents tell me all the time, so I use you because I get the digital floor plan. Like other real estate agents maybe want to charge for that, or they don't even offer that. And I'm like, Kubicasa doesn't charge me for that basic digital floor plan because I'm a preferred photographer. I get it for free. And so I'm not going to make money on that, but I don't. Huh?
What's the name of that again?
Kubicasa. So it's Cubi Casa. Kubicasa.
Wow. Interesting.
And so when you scan it, it uses a combination of the video, you know, and the LiDAR data from the cell phone to digitally create the floor plan with exact measurements, dimensions of each room. It automatically identifies whether it's a kitchen or a laundry room based on whether it's got a washer and dryer in it. It identifies whether it's got a fireplace or not. It can put the fireplace in there, identifies all the doors and windows, it puts them on the blueprint. And it does all that and it returns that back to me in 12 hours or less.
Wow.
It's crazy. And
that
it's
is
free,
crazy.
it's free for me. So what I do is like, you could easily charge a real estate agent $25 for that. That'd be, that'd be a good thing. They don't. I give it away for free because it literally takes me an extra 5 minutes. I'm literally walking around the house in 5 minutes. I send it, with my phone, and that's the extent of my labor. So I don't charge for that. And a lot of real estate.
Yeah, you're a golden operator, is what I used to call it. Yeah.
And so what you do is in any business, you want to differentiate yourself. Obviously, you have a differential product is that Andrew Tate is not marketing to any other foreign market. He's marketing to anybody in the world that can speak English.
Yeah.
And so, but you're marketing to a specific culture. You're trying to bring the third world into the first world, and we have that technology available to do that now.
Yeah.
And so he's, and it's a great concept. It has a good like philosophy behind it as far as like you're trying to do something good in that world because you're in that world. I mean, I got to see that world every time I traveled to Baja, Mexico, to do a race event. I saw those people live. They live very simply down in Baja. They're not super westernized down there. There are a bunch of fishing villages along that peninsula and everything else. And so they live very simply and their lives run a lot slower. And I'm like, wow, this is how it used to be. When growing up in the 80s, the life was a lot slower because we didn't have all this technology, even in the 80s, I grew up in the 80s and stuff, and everything was slower. Like we didn't have cell phones, pagers, or internet or anything like that. If someone wanted to call me, they called my house. And my mom would leave a note on the fridge. And when I got home, like, oh, okay, yeah, this person called me or this girl called me or something like that. Now it's like, and it's still like that down there. You go down there and it's like the utilities are primitive and everyone, there's not a lot of building codes. It's interesting when you go down there, they don't have a lot of forests. They don't have access to a lot of wood. So everything down there is made out of concrete and bricks and stuff. And adobe blocks and everything else down there in Mexico. Because they don't have big forests to cut that. Wood's expensive. So they use what they have there. So it's really cool that when I go down there and you see that where you live. You go
right, they build in block here too, just because of mold and deterioration and humidity.
But also, you don't want to cut down. There's not a lot of forest to cut down. And unlike down there,
here there is.
Yeah, but if you cut it down, it never grows back hardly, you know, because they did.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, dude. The indigenous people, because cutting something down is free and buying block is not, right? It's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Like the indigenous, they're all chainsaw experts, man, and they have harvested pretty much every 1,000-year-old tree. That's why I don't know if I was telling you about it. I think I was telling Kenny. There's a place with no access, no road access, far out on the trail that has quite a bit of primary forest still left, and I can buy it. There's a peak with spring water. There's nothing around it for miles. That's one of a kind buy, and they actually deemed the other side of it a nature preserve. So I want to, you know, and I don't even have
that nature. You can extend that nature preserve by buying it, basically.
Yeah, well, exactly. I'll extend the nature preserve by buying it, but I actually want to do a natural enhancement where I bring every type of wildlife species that's there, animal and plant, plus I add a few in a few different areas, and
so
I start to do.
You harvest what's naturally already growing there, and then you can eventually you can have like a nature health retreat where it's spiritual and it's nutritional, and yeah, I could totally see that.
Well, yeah. This one could be cool. I could do a retreat. This one I'm actually just really nerded out about. This one I just want to do a natural enhancement model and then go show the world and then invite people to eat off of it. And I mean, in 10 days, man, I got sites like this I can take you to right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there was a lot of investment, and 30 years has already been, you know, that nobody's really done the feral model that I want to do quite as feral as I want to do it, right? But
I forgot his name. There's this guy that was on Joe Rogan. I have to look up the podcast. And right now, him and his foundation and investors, they own 100,000 acres in the Amazon, and he's always exploring the Amazon to buy more of the property. And then at the end of the day, he bought this property from somebody that has ancient mahogany forest on it, and he saw the loggers, and the loggers were like, "We don't want to log this, but we need a job." And he's like, "Okay, well, I'll make you park rangers. Can we be park rangers?" So that's what he did. The loggers that were going to cut the place down, he ended up employing them to protect the land, because at the end of the day, the indigenous people, they don't want to cut it down, but they want to make money. And so that's why I think your cause is so positive, because if you can teach them the technology the Western world is using to make money with, then they won't cut down their forests. They will get into the tech system.
How is he getting the money to do this?
He was finding philanthropical investors, people that want to donate, you know. So he would find this land, and, you know, based on being down there for 20 years and writing books and shooting videos and doing all kinds of things and getting on podcasts like Joe Rogan, big, you know, and there are people that understand that this forest, the Amazon region needs to be protected. And so so right now he got a milestone where he owns 100,000 acres of the Amazon rainforest right now, and it's all protected under his control. And so they're doing, and then so he has scientists come down, they're doing a lot of studies in the rainforest. He says there's so much of the Amazon rainforest that is he goes on expeditions all the time where they try to find regions that man's never seen or been to before, which is a lot of it. And then he turns around, figures out who owns it, and tries to buy it. Because
as soon as I get off the phone with you, I'm gonna go find that interview. I'm gonna find that guy. I'm gonna try to make a contact with him now.
And pick his brain, yeah.
Pick his brain and just.
It's an amazing podcast. Listen to that podcast. It's right up your alley. Because if you want to protect the forest down there in Panama, in Brazil, in Argentina, in all those places down there, he has the model to do it with. And then, you know, because he's trying to protect that, because there's so much things we don't know about the Amazon rainforest. There's so many things that we can learn from it. But if we cut it down, we learn nothing. We just cut it down.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
And this shit's been thousands of years. Those mahogany trees are thousands of years old. You know, and stuff like that. Yeah. So.
Roger that, dude. Well,
And they're using like drones with LiDAR to go in there and scan parts of the rainforest too and stuff on his expeditions, things like that. Because we have technologies now to go in and do that. And so the LiDAR technology is being microdized. It's gotten smaller where you don't need as big of a drone to run the payload on it now. And so to the point now where DJI, their newest one, the Air 3S, has LiDAR sensors on it, so you can fly at night with obstacle avoidance. Obstacle avoidance at night, because all the obstacle avoidance systems on drones right now are optical related, you know. But now DJI's come out with a drone that's got LiDAR obstacle avoidance. It will
Wow.
literally miss like power lines and shit in the dark. It's crazy.
That's
And
dope.
they got it in a drone that's only like this big. Like literally like this big. It's crazy. Yeah. So,
Wow. I want an
so
army of those drones.
yeah, well, DJI makes a lot of agricultural drones and heavy lift drones and stuff like that. They're the world leader in drones. They're a Chinese company, but they're getting a lot of flack in the US. They are not associated with the Chinese military. They're not using slave labor. Most of their stuff's made in Malaysia because they're a high-tech company. You cannot create their product with forced labor because it's a super high-tech product. You can't build it with labor. You know, you need to have skilled labor to make their products. But the US government is really like the US government to the point where the US government's holding up this new drone in customs.
Well, man, one thing I can kind of see, I don't know how or why or whatever, but I can definitely see that we're going to get to the point where robots can create more robots very soon, right? And then, I mean, I'm sure robots are already created by robots, but when they're able to do it on their own, and if someone's able to even seed them or program them with whatever agenda, that's why I want to get started using the robots to enhance nature, because if we enhance more ecological power, because nature can be enhanced, man, hugely.
And that's amazing thing, because then that data or those stimulus responses that we program into the machine learning of the AI will be carried on through the robotic AI. So yeah, that's a super amazing project to take on, because obviously there are people that try to feed the AI to make it a weapon, but if you feed the AI to make it positive to enhance humanity, that data goes into the machine learning. That machine learning goes into the data set that cannot be removed. And and that's the thing about AI. AI can be used for whatever we want to. It depends on what data we input into the machine to learn.
Yeah, and I wrote Andrew Tate did fundraiser.com, and he said he was going to do venture capitalism, and I wrote up like a half-cocked proposal, right? And submitted it on there. But I need to communicate better, and I'll have ChatGPT help me with this now, but just communicate better that what you just said, the fact that we want to start the nature-based machine learning and get that far before this other shit, because it's only going to be something nature-based that's like, we're going to be fucked here in a minute if the machine gets too big. You know what I mean?
Say like Elon Musk, I get scared to say, so say like Elon Musk releases the Tesla robot, right? That Tesla robot can be taught for good or evil. That Tesla robot can be taught how to operate in ER-15. Or that Tesla robot can be taught how to fly a drone and grow plant plants. And then based on that machine learning, it'll propagate through its AI neural network, through the AI network of all the Tesla robots. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I understand exactly what you're getting at. So what you want to do is you want to be able to be on the front line to teach the AI the nature things, or it's gonna, if people get a hold of them and change it and teach it to like deforest the planet and dude, they create an army out of it. That's what the AI knows. The AI only knows what we show it, and then based on that, it's going to go ahead and based on those stimuluses, have those program responses, and based on the stimuluses, based on the responses, it's going to create more responses. And so
exactly, and we may need even
now, because we're on the front end, we're on the edge of that technology right now.
this is a deciding moment, man. This is a
Yeah, we're on
deciding.
the edge of that technology, whether we use it for what you want to use it for, or we use it to like create armies, and we use it to deforest the planet. We use it just to
that's
make
what
money.
I'm saying. And if we created a functional agricultural army now that produces better food, you know what I mean?
Right.
Then you know, we take
Dr. Mike talks about that. He said he believes that AI in the future, we won't have to freaking work out. We can create chemicals and we can express our genome without having to actually physically express our genome. You see what I'm saying? If we
what's Mike's last name?
He runs the RP channel, Renaissance Periodization. It's
Renaissance. You told me about that before.
He's actually Russian. His name is actually Mikhail. Let me see here. But look up Renaissance Periodization on YouTube, and you can see his channel. This dude's super jacked and ripped, and he believes in steroids because he believes in like we can use chemicals to express different genetic code in our body to create muscle and this and that. And he believes by like 2040, we will have the technology with AI combined with how we understand our genome we can express the genetic code in our body to create muscle, to stimulate muscle growth without actually lifting weights.
That's nuts.
And even Dr. Joe Dispenza says that just with the power of the mind, by thinking that we're lifting weights. But he's has controlled studies that just by actually physically like envisioning and meditating that you're lifting hard weights, you can stimulate muscle growth without actually physically lifting the weights.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, there's been studies that have done that. So it's there. We're on the edge of that where we can express the code in our bodies without actually physically stimulating, without using physical.
Yeah, you know, man, because working out is like my zone, man. That is where
working out is expressing genes and chemical changes in your body, right? So what if we can express those genes and chemical composition changes without working out?
But I think there's got to be a miss there somewhere, man, because I know my metaphysical spiritual state is never better than in the middle of the workout. You know, I will just between me and you. I in the Navy. I was training with some EOD guys for a while. They taught me that SEAL breaststroke that everybody, you know, how SEALs can swim forever in the ocean. I have that now.
That's because you're able to tune out external stimuluses. So that's the biggest thing. That's what workouts do. You notice that's what meditation does. Meditation is a type of flow state. Working out is a type of flow state. In fact, to me, working out in the gym is meditative in a way.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's the most meditative I've ever done.
I start working out and I tune everything out. So the ability to tune out external stimulus and focus in on internally what your body is capable of, internally what your mind is capable of.
Right.
What if we using AI to attack the genome? We barely only know 1% of the genetic code that we're capable of, you know, what we're capable of expressing. And so what a lot of people are talking about now, including Dr. Mike, is that but we're going to get AI to a point where we know exactly what chemicals we can do, what we can express in our body to create more muscle mass, or to lose body fat, or to do this, or to express different genes in our code, to not have cancers, do this stuff. where he says we're going to get to the point where we don't need to lift weights anymore. If we want more muscle, we want to express more muscle mass in our body, we can do it by triggering those chemical systems in our body to turn protein to more muscle mass without having to lift weights, without having to do the external stimulus. We could trigger that chemical. We could trigger that genetically. And so that's what he's thinking by 2040, 2050. That's going to happen.
Well, I mean, I read in the Rudolf Steiner's book just recently, I got The Power of Nutrition. I got this one now. and which is super abstract, right? Like knowledge of higher worlds and their attainment. And I mean, this read is, I thought biodynamic agriculture was something. This is the one above that.
Yeah.
But in his Power of Nutrition, which I just finished, he predicted that we would have a lab-based food, completely lab-based food. And I think, you know, the control freaks are trying to hijack that and get us on this monoculture cricket thing. And there's several other fucking diabolically fucked up sounding, even, you know, monoculture.
Yeah, it's Dr. Mike Israel, but he's a Russian, but his website is rpstrength.com.
RP Strength.
Yeah. Renaissance Periodization, rpstrength.com. And he's all for like using chemicals, using different things in a science-based manner. He's got a PhD. So he's a PhD and he's super jacked. Super jacked. Like this guy's 5'6", 240, all muscle.
What?
Yes. He's like, boom. Yeah. And he knows like some of the experiments he's doing on his body, some of the things he's shortening his life. He understands that. He understands what's going on in his body. But he's trying to push the limits on what physically his body is capable of packing on as far as muscle and everything else.
Well, listen, man, I when I went through the hardcore stress of having my kid kidnapped and being told I am going to she's never going to love you again, shit, right? That aged the shit out of me. And then the true story of how I found this nutritional diversity shit as I was on my knees eating the rice and beans that were out there every day, praying, saying that everyone else was eating, right? You know, praying, saying, how do I get out of this? You know, I couldn't get around a human being without wanting to kill him. Like I still think someone had some actual black magic thing they were doing at me. But I mean, if kidnapping your kid and fucking brainwashing him to hate you isn't black magic enough. But anyway, I was just like, please, you know, and I was just, dude, I would wake, sometimes I wouldn't sleep and I would just be seeing red and viciously fucking pissed off, and there wasn't even anyone around. You know what I mean? And I had no phone. I had no bank account. I was like completely detached, you know, and then somehow, dude, from above, I got this idea to start eating from not permaculture, from wild culture. So I was starting to field test, you know, and you know, then I was looking through all these books that were in the shared kitchen that was there, and there was a few books about this shit, and I saw Parselius, and you know, in the 1400s talking about how everything's a remedy and a toxin, and it's the dose that decides. And I just started finding out what doses of each plant I could consume in this diverse blend shake. You know what I mean? I would just like blend it up. I had a hand fucking grinder, dude, that they used to pull, right? And I'm just like, all right, I'll put this much, grind the shit up, put this mango, grind it so it tastes good, and I'll make these concoctions. And dude, I started healing myself out there. And I was like,
okay, so there's some science behind that. A lot of that is like, okay, so I firmly believe, you know, that that the genetic makeup of the food we eat interacts with our genome. And so and the different chemicals in the food we eat express genetically, epigenetics, you know, express different genetic code in our body. And also combined with, you know, the gut biomes, and found out your gut biome is like the second brain. The gut biome is where a lot of the building blocks are created for all the hormonal chemical infrastructure in your body. So you changed your gut biome. You combined with providing your body different building blocks to express different genetic code in your body. So then you changed. And so that's all it is.
Dude,
you know,
I'm telling you this, I've done research on Go-To Cola and all the independent longevity supplements stuff. No, this nutritional diversity in combination, they work together. Look at nature. it all works together. They need each other. It's not activating in your system until you have a sufficient diversity together in one processation. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I found. And man, I couldn't think a thought outside of some fucking hateful, destructive shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden I started seeing the light again through that. And now, you know, I mean, I looked like a 56-year-old dude when I was 37, right? Now I'm 44 and I look like I'm 37. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I was falling apart and fast biologically. You know what I mean? It was just incredibly fast because I've always been an athlete. You know what I mean? I was a little boxing superstar.
I think by you going to South America, changing your environment, you changed where, like in New Mexico where you were before, you had all those triggers that triggered.
Well, I actually was in Philadelphia. I had left New Mexico when I was 23.
Yeah, but you by changing your environment, you completely changed, you know, the external stimuluses that triggered all those, that triggered your continuation of like going down that path. So part of that has to do with it too. You know, you want to change your environment. That's a big part of it.
That is such a fucking solid comment. It's 100%.
I tell people, even in their own home, you know, if you keep things around in your home that are constantly triggering you to remember those past events or those past things that make you feel like shit, get rid of that stuff. Why are you holding it around? You know, that's it. It even starts within your home. You know, your home triggers you. And for you, you know, being diversity, you're always diversifying, changing where you're at all the time. And so that does that. I noticed that I have a big improvement, you know, over the last 6 months. I started going out and doing a lot more hiking, going back to nature. I go camping. I go on camping trips every chance I get now. Like I said yesterday, if it wasn't for having to cover a race this weekend, video a race, I'd be camping again. So next weekend I'm going to Cathedral Gorge. You know, the weekend after that, I'm going to the Grand Canyon. You know, I have all these beautiful places to go to, and it's amazing how, you know, your spirit feels so much better. You connect back to nature in those ways. Like my last trip, I went last weekend to Valley of Fire in Nevada to see where it's a remote location with no shade, no trees, all these sandstone red rock formations. Yet there are petroglyphs there that ancient cultures lived there, and they lived in harmony with the environment. You know, in these canyons that had these natural catch basins of water out in the middle of the freaking Nevada desert. You know, and I went there and there was I hiked up it's called Petroglyph Canyon. I hiked up it at the end. There's this water basin. It had rainwater in it still. It had water in it still. Last weekend. It was crazy. You know, and that's what you can tell. That's why there were so many petroglyphs there, because people were able to live in them, because this canyon, the way the sun went through it, there was all these places to get shade, you know, and they had a lot of petroglyphs. Bighorn sheep were everywhere because it's a state park. I mean, I saw all kinds of bighorn sheep, but all the petroglyphs of bighorn sheep from like the ancient cultures there on the sides of the canyon. And so they were able to live even in harmony and thrive out there, out in the middle of freaking nowhere.
Yeah,
you know,
that's hardcore.
And that shows me that, you know, when you like you're teaching, when you can live in harmony with like your surroundings, you know, just eating and surviving on what you have available to you in your area, it's like you live so much better and I see those examples all the time when I go into these different environments. Like when I go down to Mexico, you know, like in Baja, where they're mostly fishing things. Their primary food is like to eat what's out of the ocean. You know, the seafood down there is amazing. I see some Western cultures coming in when you go to the grocery store, just like when it reminded me when you're showing it and you're walking through the grocery store there. It's the same thing. Walk through the grocery store in Mexico. I look at that and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like all this shit.
They're fucked. Yeah.
Nuts. Yeah. It's nuts. But then when I go eat at the restaurants down there, you know, right there in the fishing village, like in San Felipe, you go down there, it's all fresh food, you know, and everything else. And so it's totally different. But it's funny how that Western culture is like, you know, just it's almost like a scourge on the planet. Only other way to describe it.
Dude, it's straight up I mean, I don't know how people don't give the devil credit of existence. If you really think about it, to take a natural man who existed in nature and to bring everything to this extreme, man, there is some kind of polar evil. You know what I mean? Yes, yes, we can choose to align ourselves with it, but I feel like there is a spirit tip out there. You know what I mean?
That's why over the existence of humanoids on the planet over 100,000 years, our frontal lobe has got to really develop, because we're at the point, once we got to the point where we didn't have to hunt anymore. We could grow our own crops, and we had fire, and so we could preserve food and stuff. We didn't have to worry about a food supply anymore. That's when we made those strides forward. Our brain developed, our frontal lobe developed even more, to now we can develop all these technologies. You know,
well, it would have developed through nutritional diversity diet, because there was no bowl of rice.
Yeah, there was no bowl of rice. Yeah. So now we're developing to the point where we're like, now we don't have to hunt for food. We don't have to worry about shelter. We don't have to worry about doing all these things. Our brain is developing to the point now where, like, eventually we're not even gonna have to be able to work out. If we want to look jacked and ripped. You know,
and dude, I think that's going to be a real robbery, bro. I think that's a mistake.
We do this protocol. We take these chemicals. We do this mental protocol using AI, and we can stimulate our body to, like, be popped.
Talk about fake, though, bro. I mean, the metaphysical discipline that comes with pushing yourself through all those workouts.
I know.
I mean,
that's when I think, if we get to that point, that's when we're like 100% spiritually dead. Where
maybe
we think we're gods, and we have the capacity to do whatever we want with our body with technology, and that we don't need to believe in anything except the AI system. That I think, you know,
dude, I knew nature, because there's spiritual entities in nature that could be. You know, once you've interfaced with those a little bit, you could say there's some evil shit out there. Actually, there is. There seems to be some evil, deceptive.
Now there could be an opinion that the AI is our gateway to that universal force, that universal energy, and that the AI is a doorway.
But this conversation is helping me say no to that. Actually, like, because that metaphysical cultivation happens in this natural world through these natural tools. You know what I mean? Like, and you know what? The only thing that I can think is an argument for that is, like, guys like, what was that guy? The super genius who had to move his wheelchair with his mouth.
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about. He talks to that robotic voice all the time. Huh?
Yeah, but anyway, there's another.
I know who you're talking about.
There's a guy in a condition, Stephen Hawking, something Hawkins. Is that?
Yeah, Hawking. Stephen Hawking. Yeah.
There's a
now your buddy can kind of alluded to what there's an opinion on AI I'm talking about, because he believes the world is a construct or a matrix, and that you know, and that a lot of things are, like, predetermined in a way that you could, like, program. And so what's AI?
I think it would be the construct inside of the construct.
AI in a way is our version, our way to express that construct.
It is, I think you're right. And I also do think that if we attach our conscious antenna to a system that we created, we may have opted out of being able to get our conscious, out back to the original mainframe.
That's what I wanted to bring up. That's where determinism falls off. Because and he made a contradictory statement. I didn't want to say anything. You know, he said there's infinite possibilities. Well, if there's infinite possibilities, then that's where determinism falls off. Because determinism means there's a finite amount of possibilities. You just choose one. And then
Well,
and then from that choice, that determines the next.
There's probably still infinite possibilities, but still within the limitations, right?
Well, infinity means there's no limitation. See, that's where the free will and determinism collide. And that's where even like Einstein tried to figure out the layers between quantum mechanics and reality. You know, there's a layer in there. There's a hidden layer. Einstein even realized there's a hidden layer where at a certain point, infinite probability becomes probable. You know, quantum mechanics means that there's a probability. You know, there's a probability it could go one way or the other. You know, there's more than one, there's more than one result. Okay. There's a layer in there that narrows down from infinity down to that set of probabilities, or hence determines it. But so that's where free will and determinism collide. And I didn't know, I was hoping we were going to get into that discussion, but you know, there's only so much time in that.
Well, I think it might just be a very high number of finite possibilities. You know what I mean? Within the operating system. I do think you're probably right that the actual infinite part is an inaccuracy, but the fact that the number is so gargantuan, we'll never be able to account it out. The finite numbers of real possibilities inside the limited operating system, because we can't fly. We can't just do fucking anything. You know what I mean? We do have limitations, and there is a master intelligence that oversees all of that. And you know, even in biology, you know, you're not gonna really be able to cross too many different species and shit like that. You know, those codes are interfaceable but not necessarily interchangeable. And then when it comes to the gene expression thing, those actually, that falls in the same lines. Like, I'd love my genes to express freaking silver surfer iron skin.
Okay, so there's an interesting book out there called Dark Matter, written by Blake. I know about this book because I like watching this show. There's a show based on this book called Dark Matter on Apple, you know, the Apple streaming service. Apple created this show, you know, based on the best-selling book Dark Matter. His book tackles the multiverse, saying there's an infinite amount of possibilities, and in his book he uses like a cytochemicals, you know, concoction to program the brain so that your state of consciousness can travel to an infinite number of universes that you coexist in, that your consciousness can coexist in. And so even Dr. Joe Dispenza, that's how he gets people to do amazing things. Is what you do is from that infinite multiverse, you can pull in elements of a different version of you to this present moment, and thus change and just change your life. So say like there's a version of you in the multiverse that has cancer. There's a version of you in the multiverse that doesn't have cancer. And so there's a version of you that's jacked and ripped. There's a version of you that's fat as fuck. You know, different versions of you. And then based on being able to channel your consciousness, and you can tap into a version of your conscious that's coexisting in a different universe, and then pull elements of that to this universe that you want to exist in. And so it's really twisted, and the show does a pretty good job at like displaying that. And so obviously you have to have a subscription to Apple, to the Apple streaming network or Apple Plus to get Dark Matter. But it's a very interesting show. And the book is very interesting as well. And the book is 100%. In fact, In fact, Blake Crouch, the writer of the book, had a big play in writing the screenplay of the show as well. But
Wow.
it's the most accurate to the point of like trying to like in a show describe the multiverse. Because we understand that we can use psychochemicals to change our state of consciousness. We already know that. We can use ibogaine, we can use DMT, we can use ashwagandha, we can do all kinds of things, to alter our state of consciousness. We can use LSD, we can do, so it's not, is it allowing our consciousness to access different forms of ourselves or access different forms of the different states of the universe? And that's where even like people that take ibogaine, you may think that you're accessing a version of you that is not fucked up, that doesn't have PTSD, that's not an alcoholic, and you're bringing that back into the present moment. And the ibogaine allows you to access that and then express that and then bring that into your present moment. There are lots of, I don't understand why the drug's illegal, because it's like there's so many people that are highly addicted, people that suffer from PTSD, people like you that instead of you going on your natural journey, you probably could have been instantly cured by doing an ibogaine session.
Yeah, I probably could have, dude. I probably could have. I mean, I've talked to several people
about it all the time. He did ibogaine once, and like fucking, he stopped drinking literally after he went down to Mexico and did the ibogaine session. Sean Ryan talks about that in one of his podcasts.
Sean Ryan?
Yeah.
Was it ibogaine or ayahuasca?
No, ibogaine. Ibogaine. You go down to Mexico and do ibogaine because Mexico hasn't classified it. It's classified as a Schedule I drug here in the U.S. In New Zealand, it's 100% legal. You go to New Zealand, you can buy ibogaine, you can do what you want. They got ibogaine clinics. You can get it on your own, do whatever you want. It's legal to possess everything in Mexico, in New Zealand. Yeah, because it has therapeutic effects. But in the U.S., if we legalize ibogaine, the entire community, the entire pharmaceutical arm that wants you to prescribe you SSRIs, that wants to prescribe you lithium, that wants
opioids.
to do, all this other stuff, all that shit goes away.
Yeah.
With this very inexpensive legal,
one thing, the only argument I have for natural remedy, and I mean, this one's an interesting one to get to.
Ibogaine is a natural remedy. It's based on like some African plant or something like that.
I think it's a direct seed based. I think it's a direct fruit plant thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look more into ibogaine.
But we have addicts, we have people suffering from PTSD, forms of depression. You do one ibogaine session. Sean Ryan even talks about his. It was the most intense trip he'd ever been on. He went on this trip and he'd come back a totally new person. Like totally he wasn't alcohol anymore. He straight up said he was an alcoholic because of his PTSD, because of being an operator, because of being a Navy SEAL. He just became a straight up alcoholic. And
I didn't drink for 10 years and PTSD got me crawling in a tequila bottle too, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to look into more ibogaine. Ayahuasca, I would never do it because I found out that certain brews of it actually possess kind of a deceptive evil spirit. I've been told by a few.
Well, you're dealing with DMT and other phytochemicals that, it's not just DMT. There's other things that, depending on the brew and the concoction and stuff like that. Right. So yeah, you can get different results, but that's why he was talking about, ibogaine is straight up. It does one thing, and it's natural and it freaking works. Sean Ryan talked about countless people that were addicts, suffering PTSD. They go do an ibogaine session and they're completely changed their life. He's like, and just our Western medicine, pharmaceutical based freaking like high profit, whatever system we have in the US doesn't want something simple as that. Like they try and squash ivermectin, for COVID and all these other things.
Yeah.
You know, ivermectin's super inexpensive. Ivermectin's
Super,
used
dude.
for all the other things.
I take it on a regular basis, actually, every couple of months. I think it's a performance.
It's used in third world countries to cure lots of simple little ailments. Ivermectin's used for, but in the U.S., it's not prescribed at all. In the U.S., it's a dewormer for horses, dogs.
All right, man. Well, I better get this guy's trying to call at me, and
no, I got to get going too.
Thank you so much, John. This has been an evolutionary conversation for sure. I'm getting it to.
Yeah, no, I always learn things, even when I'm talking to you and stuff. I get to reflect on things that I know I have in my brain, but then I get to bring them back to the forefront to remind myself, oh yeah, you learned this.
You do. You got to bounce it around and look at every side, and that conversation helps you get your final sculpting.
So that's when I tell everyone I'm grateful for every one of these calls, just because it keeps reminding me of the things that I've learned throughout my life, and those lessons and those things I can put forward and share with people. So yeah.
So many people would look at these calls as stupid waste of time and this and this and that. It's just like, man, you need depth. People need depth, man. And you know what I mean? You need to
be able to tap into energy. People are numb. That's how you control populations. You control populations by keeping them narrow focused on nothing. You know, instead of opening them.
Yeah, dude, they don't have
conversations open our mind. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't even have their plug to connect to any energy. That's fucking crazy.
And so I think Porto Distinto is going to allow you to kind of have people in the third world connect with the rest of the world, connect with other things that the other world changes everything. Yeah.
That's what I saw. That's what I was kind of. Yeah, exactly. Stop being sick.
All right, I'm gonna get going.
All right, brother.
I gotta start serving people. I gotta edit these photographs.
Hey, big hugs, man. Have a great day.
All right, love you, bro.
Love you too, bro.